Who's back in studio? Huh? Chris Vasquez, Scott Harris. Scott Harris too.
And Trey.
Hello. Oh, yeah, it is time for open mic. Mikey's edition. That's right. The fourth annual Mikey's presented by Advanced Auto Parts today. We'll start at 7 o'clock. That is the recorded version of our theme song. At 7 o'clock, you'll be hearing the house band. The Down Brothers play the live version. I heard them warming up this morning. It sounded good. I think Jeffrey took his steroids last night. The voice was strong. What a big day here on Open Mic. Unbelievable. The results are in, Diddy.
Yeah.
All the awards, all the voting has been done. We have the results, although they haven't been revealed to us yet. The Winghouse girls will be here later with the envelopes to present the Mikeys. And you know what? I've said this many times. Forget about the Emmys. Forget about the Oscars. Forget about the Grammys. Forget about the ESPYs. The Mikeys is where it's at. Premier sports award event in this country or county, whichever you want to say. Country,
Well, at least the county.
Yeah.
We'll give it at least the county.
Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, we're going to have a lot of people here. There's going to be a live studio audience here at 7 o'clock. The house band's going to be here. Shula's 347 is going to cater the event. They're going to bring food out. By the way, when Shula's gets here, the people from Shula's, Rick Everett's our program director. Rick, he's standing in the room right now. Rick, we want to institute a one helping rule for Shot Doctor. He's only allowed to go up for one helping of Shula's because every year at the Mikey's, did he, right?
Yeah.
Every year we do the show. The show's over at 9 o'clock. We're working. The house band's working, and there's no food left for us. The people are actually working because Shot Doctor has been gobbling up the food the entire time.
Yeah, I think I might have had a few chicken bones to pick at last year. There was definitely nothing left over there after the Shot Doctor got through with it. He was texting me at 4:50 a.m. this morning asking if the food was here yet.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So he's already ready to eat absolutely everything that comes in this room.
Yeah, we want to thank the house band. You're going to hear them later. We want to thank Advanced Auto Parts. Thank Shula's 347 for providing us the delicious breakfast that Shot Doctor is not going to be allowed to eat. Also, our other sponsors today for the Mikey's, Kerr's Wing House. The Wing House girls are going to be here this morning. The Me Law Firm. The Me Law Firm. Headquarter Hyundai, Caddyshanks, Metafast, and of course my newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel, which allows me to do this silly show.
Absolutely.
Diddy, how's that Metafast diet going, by the way?
It's going well. I mean, my pants that were fitted 2 days ago are already falling off. That's a good sign, right?
They misfit your pants, Diddy.
I don't know.
You have not lost that much weight.
It is as tightened as it can go, and they're slipping off. That's a good sign.
By the way, the studio this morning. The what do we call it? The
Performance Theater.
The Performance Theater. The Performance Theater here this morning here at the Clear Channel Castle. Decorated nicely tonight. The band's got it set up. We've got the 740 logos all over the place. And yes, Diddy, we have a Tebow. What is that?
That's a Jets shirt.
A Tebow Jets jersey?
Yes.
Good grief. And we have the racist pennant. The old Washington Redskins pennant, okay, from it looks like 100 years ago, with the big. It's got a big chief on it, and then the name Washington Redskins. You know what? I'm not even going to say that name anymore. We should just. It's Washington. Native Americans. Do we have a clock around here? I can see what time it is. No? Where's the clock?
We're going.
Yeah, there we go.
Flying by the seat of our pants.
Yes. Okay. There we go. So yeah, the studio's decorated nice tonight. We're also going to talk a little bit of sports this morning. Okay. We're going to talk some sports. Although I got to tell you, Diddy, this is the perfect time for the Mikeys because there's nothing going on in sports. I mean, unless you want to.
Depends on if your favorite sport is speculation.
Well, yeah,
that's going on. Quite a bit right
LeBron is going on, but again,
yeah,
there's the soccer match on Sunday.
Yes. Don't forget the third place game on Saturday.
Oh, nobody cares about the third place game. But there's regular season baseball, which we'll start caring about that in about 2 months. Okay, at least most of us. Professor Baseball cares about it now, but most people don't care about the regular season baseball until just before the playoffs. The pennant races get hot and heavy. But right now, I'm telling you, I'm watching the four-letter network and Sports Center last night. It's all LeBron all the time.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
And absolutely nothing really founded. It's just all absolute speculation at a constant rate. It's unbelievable. And these poor people of Cleveland, what's going to happen to all those people standing out front of his house if he says, I'm going to stay in Miami?
See,
what happens?
Everybody's saying, like, LeBron can't do this to Cleveland again. It's like,
what is he doing?
He's not done anything. All he's done is, like, say nothing.
Yeah.
He said nothing about where he's going to go. He held his basketball clinic out in Vegas.
Yep.
Everybody's trying to talk to him. He's not saying anything. He's not done anything. I mean, the last time he did something to Cleveland.
Yeah.
But not now.
This guy just can't win, though. Like, you come out and have a decision, you make it, you say, okay, I'm literally telling you this date, this time, I will let you know what my decision is, and you're the bad guy. Now I don't want to say anything. I'm going to let this play out because this is my life, and you're the bad guy because you're leading them on somehow by not telling them anything.
Okay, besides LeBron, what is the biggest story out there? What is the biggest story out there?
That's about it.
No, seriously.
Masahiro Tanaka.
Tanaka's, Tanaka's, what is he out? At least 6 weeks?
6 to 8 weeks on a throwing program, but that could always still turn into Tommy John surgery.
So he might still have Tommy John surgery?
Yes. It's not a mandatory surgery right now, I guess, from the doctors. But you don't know. They try these throwing programs all the time, and the guy ends up still having the surgery.
What if Tanaka's done for the season, okay?
Oof.
Would the Yankees ever, I don't know, tank, sell off? I mean, that's not the Yankee way.
So. Yeah.
That's not the Yankee. I mean, yeah, that's the Rays way. If they're not doing well, they're going to sell off their talent and try to get younger and try to get younger prospects. But the Yankees would never do that.
You wouldn't think, especially, I mean, last year they were really just decrepit as far as lineup. Everybody got hurt, A-Rod getting suspended, everything going on last year. It's basically happening again. They were still technically in the mix late in the season last year. So, and right now they're 2 games over 500, and they have 2 of their stud pitchers gone, CC Sabathia and Masahiro Tanaka. So now your ace is Hiroki Kuroda, and Brandon McCarthy is your number 2. It's just not going to work out that way. So,
although in that bad division, what are they? They're still only They're still only 3 games out.
Yeah, they're not far out in the East. The East is horrible this year. The Red Sox are bad. The Rays are bad. Everybody's falling off. And if they could maybe make that trade, you just said Tampa Bay likes to unload when they're doing bad. They're doing bad, and David Price isn't happy. The Yankees are a kind of team that would pay David Price anything he wanted, and easily take that contract that they signed him in without any question. So that could be something that maybe is in the works to get another starter up in New York to try to compete.
Give us a call anytime during the first hour of the show from 6 to 7. At 7 o'clock, of course, the official beginning of the Mikeys. 407-916-8255, toll free, 1-800-729-8255. You can hit us up on Twitter at 740-THE-GAME. You can also find us on Facebook. You can text us at the number 70236. Back in studio this morning. We're in the live theater, the Performing Arts Theater here at the Clear Channel Castle. But back in studio is the great Trey Downey, the great Chris Vasquez, and, of course, Scott Harris, making it all happen, pushing the buttons, engineering, all of that. We appreciate all they're doing. Simon Luke, in here with us trying to make us sound good. That's right, Simon Luke. Wow. The Mikeys it's amazing how this event has grown. Remember, you weren't here the first year we had it. The first year we had it, it was in the little cramped studio on the other side of the building. It was just me and Fritz, okay? Me, Fritz, and Kravitz did the show. It was no live event. It was just us, essentially reading the awards, and we'd have some interviews on. Yeah. But that was it. That was the awards show. Now it's grown into this.
Yeah.
I mean, live studio audience, the house band, and a gala event. Dignitaries from all over town will be here this morning. You'll want to be listening, especially at 7 o'clock this morning as the Mikeys rolls on. But when we come back, Diddy, we're going to settle this once and for all.
Okay.
Where is LeBron going to end up, and when is he going to make his decision? I'll tell you that next. Open mic, 740 The Game, Orlando's sports leader.
So we're already live. You can go to our website and watch.
Okay, nice.
Streaming live, there's a big alert. You can't miss it. You go, just click it.
Sweet.
Color HD.
The Wi-Fi password was I-86 hot dogs? Okay. I got to switch to the 409 because I'm losing the newsroom. I just have to tell him to switch right there.
When you see traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Traffic Tip Line 866-676-8477.
Nothing happened. Ah, beautiful. Oh, never mind. I was going to tell him to switch sides of the thing, but it's already there.
That'd be great, yeah. Yeah, I'll come over.
No PMI, no tax escrow, and no broker's fees. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
An American Story with award-winning journalist and author Tom Brokaw.
There we go. Now I have full signal. All right. We have 4 minutes.
It doesn't matter who the Atlanta Hawks draft. They're the Atlanta Hawks. They stink. And they always will stink. Look, Atlanta Hawks, they shouldn't even have a basketball team in Atlanta. They should be embarrassed. They have Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight reel like the Army, with Kevin Willis. They're a hell of a team. And when the Atlanta Hawks were on TV, you know what you saw? Empty seats. Holy cow.
Every week, you can read an analysis of how much more a college graduate will earn in a lifetime than a high school graduate. New studies showing community college graduates get to their earning years faster and with less debt than college graduates. They're in school for only 2 years and they come out with saleable skills like medical technician, welder, electrician. I often think about how well my father would do in this economy. Red Roca was forced to quit school in the 3rd grade, but he learned to operate anything that had an engine, and he could fix anything that was broken. He could wire a house, do the plumbing. He even made me out of spare parts and made our mail for my long time. Every day. This is entertaining Tom Brokaw. This is an American Story.
Get your bet tickets on click at 740thegame.com. On sale now. And Kiss with Molly Crew in Tampa. 740thegame.com. Keyword tickets. Want a fair, fun, and flight price and start a new car without key sales package?
Just because I have it just the passing of the torch clip, but I have the other one saved, and I can just put it back if Tenora's not coming to have that whole Buddy Dyer if you wanted it. Like, I can easily put it right back in.
Actually, forget about Buddy Dyer.
Not even the first clip?
No, the first clip, good, but the interview.
The rest doesn't matter? Okay.
Yeah, then we'll
so then we're good
I'll
to
have
go.
Mark Daniels up or something.
Okay. Then we're good to go on that. Let's cut down to just you saying we now welcome in Buddy Dyer, last year's winner, and he passes the torch. Says it couldn't have gone to a better man. Boom. 1 minute. I'm glad I have this.
Where's our clock at? Do we have one?
I have one right here. But there's also up there. Yeah.
Hey, is it alright if the sports update is like a little less than a minute? I got mine at like 50 seconds.
Can you make it 55? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I got the nod of approval.
Listen, I know you guys are kind of tracking a little bit.
As Marines, we take a stand for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud,
Oy. Don't forget to put that live spot next break, by the way, guy.
Open mic, 7:40 the game. We are getting ready for the 4th annual Mikey's presented by Advanced Auto Parts. 7 o'clock a.m. We're going to start handing out the awards. The major awards are at 7 o'clock, Diddy.
Yeah.
We're going to, what's the lineup here? We're going to start out with the local athlete of the year.
Yes.
Then we're going to go guest of the year at 7:15. 7:30, the Floridian State athlete of the year. 7:45,
That's the big one.
the caller of the year. Notepad Rick has already texted me saying, get the red carpet ready for him. Huh?
Of course. He just already knows, right?
Well, it's
I don't
I'll
know.
tell you what, the voting very, very close for caller of the year. 8 o'clock, coach of the year. Who will it be? Jimbo Fisher, George O'Leary, Eric Spoelstra? I think Spoelstra cost himself.
Yeah.
I think the Spurs cost Eric Spoelstra coach of the year. All right? 8:15. Oh, no. The Shot Doctor Buffoonery Award is at 8:15 this morning. At 8:30, the Lifetime Achievement Award. And at 8:45, the Central Floridian Sports Impact Person of the Year. And that's going to be the major awards we give out. Some of the awards we're not going to give out on air, but we'll mention them, a couple of them right here. Tweeter of the Year.
Yeah. This one was a really heated contest down to the end, too. It came down to, Stomp Out Loud, our buddy Steven. He calls in every once in a while as well. And Coach Brian.
I think Coach Brian.
end.
Coach Brian won this, right?
Coach Brian at the very end really edged him out, had a huge push in the last couple of days there. And
Although I think it should have been between Coach Brian and Tommy T myself.
yeah, I would
I
put
mean,
them
Tommy-
two probably up top.
I would say Tommy T.
Yeah. But the votes
should have won that.
The votes were in. Obviously, using social media as the award gives you the social media power to, try to get people to vote for you. So some people
a la
made some-
Notepad Rick.
Yeah, a la Notepad Rick.
Yeah.
So Steven might have made a little bit of a push with his social media connections.
So, yeah, most dominant sports champion. I mean, this was a no-brainer. The Florida State Seminoles.
See, I would have I voted for the Seahawks
how
because they dominated the championship game itself as well. Whereas Florida State, obviously a dominant team, a dominant champion, but it took a really hard fought battle in that final game.
The final game
to
but
win the title. The Broncos got completely dismantled by the Seattle Seahawks.
absolutely. But when you take the entire body of work of the Florida State Seminoles season, I mean, they were the most dominant. When you take point spreads and score differential, they were the most dominant champion of the BCS era. In fact, I think they were the most dominant champion since like the Army team of 1944 or something with Doc Blanchard and whoever those guys were.
Part of it too comes.
Did Doc Blanchard even play for Army? I don't even.
I don't know. But part of it, I think, comes to a level of competition. The Seahawks played in the hardest division in football, arguably, in the NFL.
Are you
and got out
saying
of it.
Florida State and the ACC wasn't a tough division? Is that what you're saying, Diddy?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They did beat Clemson, the one
They
good
didn't
team
just
in
beat
that
Clemson,
conference.
they
That's fine.
annihilated them.
But that was the one good team in that conference.
They destroyed
They
Clemson.
did. They absolutely did. But they didn't destroy Auburn in the championship game. Seattle destroyed absolutely embarrassed Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos.
Okay, well,
but
anyway, Florida State won.
Florida State won the award.
They won it going away. By the way, a lot of the awards in the Mikeys this year came down to essentially Florida State, whoever their representative was, and UCF.
Yeah.
And whoever their representative, like Coach of the Year. I'll let it out of the bag right now. It came down to Coach George O'Leary and Coach Jimbo Fisher. And we'll announce the winner at 8 o'clock this morning. But, that award, the State Athlete of the Year, Blake Bortles, Jameis Winston, both got a bunch of votes.
Absolutely.
So, again, I'm not going to let out who won it, but one of those guys did, okay?
Yeah, exactly. There's your finalists.
Those are the finalists, and understood why.
Yeah.
I mean, those were the two teams, at least that we cover on a daily basis, that UCF wasn't a dominant team, but they had a remarkable trailblazing season. And Florida State, of course, they were they were the national champions.
Exactly, and it's not. Thankfully, not just a blind fandom kind of thing where you see, these guys went, sorry, Miss Peak sitting over here, but the Florida Gators are 4-8, but I want Jeff Driscoll just because he's on my team. That's not what happened here. These guys actually were probably the two best athletes in the state. They won the football games, they performed on the field, and they did their jobs.
Well,
and they deserve it.
Well, I would say LeBron might have something to say with who the best athlete
But
in
you
the
just said
state
with
is.
Spoelstra on the coach list, with LeBron, you lost this finals. This was based on last year when you won it, but that doesn't mean the voters are thinking about that. They're thinking about, well, you just failed.
Well,
why am I going to vote for you?
And plus, I mean, in fairness, if it had been a national vote, LeBron probably would have won. But
most likely.
You don't have Notepad Rick having all of his Florida State fans going on our website to vote for LeBron James. All
That's
right?
true. That is true.
You don't have the UCF fans huddled up on in their basements on their chat rooms, rallying together to get everybody to vote for Blake Bortles. So again, a lot of awards that were given out this morning. The regular here's one. We like to have a lot of insiders on this show, guys who cover teams on a daily basis. We have a lot of the Seminole beat writers that cover, Florida, Florida State, UCF. We have Mike Huguenin every week. He's our college football guru. We have, during the NFL season, we have Alex Marvez, Fox Sports NFL insider. Of course, Jamie Eisenberg, our fantasy football guru. We have him on every week.
The absolute reason why I won my fantasy league this year. Thank you, Jamie.
But the regular correspondent, we have an open mic regular correspondent award. And it came down to Paul Tenorio, who covers UCF and soccer for the Orlando Sentinel. Edgar Thompson covers the Gators for the Sentinel. Scott Reynolds, who covers the Bucks for the Pewter Report. Gene Williams, who covers the Seminoles for warchant.com. I mentioned Mike Huguenin, Alex Marvez, Jamie Eisenberg, and Andrew Abramson, who covers the Dolphins for the Palm Beach Post. And the winner of this event was Paul Tenorio.
Yeah.
And you know what pushed Paul?
Slight edge.
You know what pushed him over the top? Paul Tenorio. First of all, he covered UCF, their trailblazing season this past year, and there was a lot of interest in UCF. And the other thing was Paul Tenorio then became the soccer writer at the Orlando Sentinel. So we had him on regularly to talk about soccer.
Exactly.
So
and he was our World Cup insider as well, which, I mean, World Cup fever the last 2 weeks has been unbelievable in this town, and that probably helped sway him a little bit.
But Paul Tenorio, we appreciate all he did. We appreciate all our regular correspondents and what they did this year. I mean, those guys get up they don't have to get up at 6 o'clock or 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to talk to us and prep to do our show, but they do it once a week.
And the majority of them were on at 7:30 a.m.
on
their time slot each week. It's not like a guy who's like, well, how late can I be? They're like, yeah, I'll do it. And they're always on point. There's unbelievable information that you get from them. My dark horse for this, and I was really almost hoping you'd get it, was Andrew Abramson. The stuff that he knew and could share with us through all of the Bullygate saga and everything going on down in Miami was really, really interesting to have him and have him available to us on a weekly basis throughout football season.
See, I don't know if this guy was a dark horse, but the guy I don't know what the voting was. I only know who won, but I thought Mike Huguenin.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Huguenin every week. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's college football, college basketball. You can even ask him college baseball.
Yeah.
And he knows, like, he's a wealth. He's an encyclopedia is what he is. I mean, how good do you have to be at covering college football when NFL.com hires you to cover college football? Because the NFL wants to ramp up their college football coverage, so they hire Mike Huguenin.
And you're the guy. That's awesome.
I mean, seriously, Huguenin, you could. I guarantee you, I could call up Huguenin right now and ask him to name the second-team offensive line for Florida and Florida State, and he could do it.
Oh, I'm sure. Absolutely. He could probably do it for FIU if you needed him to. Can I get the Florida International third center, please?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The Mikey's Award, 4th annual, presented by Advanced Auto Parts, starts officially at 7 a.m. this morning. Already the caterers coming in from Shula's. The coffee's here. The guests will start arriving here shortly. When we come back, though, a special Mikey's edition of the Bianchi Blast. That next, Open Mic, 740 The Game, Orlando, sports leader. What? Nowhere yet.
Exactly. That's why we didn't have to talk about it, because there is no information.
That's right, baby. Is that official? Sources, huh?
Yeah. Doesn't matter. One of you, it froze again. We don't need it, I guess. I can just watch that clock. Well, if you saw it, like they were showing like this roller coaster on Sports Nation yesterday and saying, "Oh, can this entice LeBron back to Cleveland?" I was like, "Yeah, because a roller coaster does it. If that's the case, then why isn't he coming to Orlando? Just come here then. You're only 3 hours away."
If it freezes, close this.
And then double click that.
And double click that.
Okay, and then click that.
Why is he
button.
still playing Aerosmith? And then click.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Why is he still playing Aerosmith? What's wrong with Aerosmith?
Oh, is it? It sounded like he had
It's froze again.
bed.
Oh, we go. Okay, we're good. It was AC/DC he was playing.
I mean, that music bed's not supposed to be playing, is it?
This? Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
If it plays under my live rate, he's wrong. You hear that, Chris? Nothing. This sounds horrible. I need to do anyone tomorrow.
What?
Like, I don't get what this guy wants me to do. He's like, I don't want you to sound like an announcer, but I don't want you to sound like you're reading it. I was like, well, I need to have, like, the radio voice still, right? Like,
Sounds fine.
I'm not going to be like, okay, guys, let's do this. Over there on that seat, yeah.
Bob Dylan singing.
So let me know when you want to do Kansas City. Can't you see?
Can we do it coming back from break?
Whenever
Huh?
you pick your spot.
All right.
Figure the 8 o'clock hour you got more listeners.
Diddy, we may want to do that. I'll let you bring us back from break while I'm singing.
All right.
Okay.
Which segment you said? 8:30.
Hmm?
8:30.
What?
When did you say you wanted to do it?
Well, whenever you
Randomly.
Yeah, just randomly. 8:15 maybe. Yeah, before the shot Dr. Buffoonery Award.
Start with buffoonery.
Hey, I'm trying to get Tess to get up. It's her birthday today, and log on to 740 The Game online. Maybe we can sing happy birthday to her later. Sure. Okay.
Can we
Huh?
can we happy birthday that for my fiance too?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah.
She'll be here, but
Gotta get Tessa.
I'm trying to.
Are they on the cruise?
That Monday. Tess isn't going to.
yeah, they're right here.
On this table over here. And then if you guys want to hand the trophies. Yeah. Okay, you guys hand the trophies. We'll have a girl walk up the envelope to you guys.
What?
All the envelopes are over here on the table. You see these trophies?
How are we doing the trophies?
Well,
They're nice.
Diddy will pull,
right?
Diddy will pull the trophy.
Here's
your face in the trophy.
That's nice.
We're gonna rotate Brittany and a Winghouse girl bringing up the envelopes. Okay. And bringing the envelope, you read it.
These here?
Yep. But they'll bring it up to you to open.
Okay. Well, I already know who won, but it doesn't.
Still, just to make it look. That's I love the trophy. Just so much better than black. Oh, big time.
The game weather update in the currently 74 degrees, partly cloudy. Your high today will be 89 with a 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms throughout the day. Your met low will be 74 with a 40% chance of thunderstorms early. More LA Peak coming up.
Chris. More LA Peak, huh, Chris?
Welcome back. Open mic, 740 The Game. Mikey's edition of the show this morning. 4th annual Mikey's presented by Advanced Auto Parts. Getting ready to start at 7 a.m. this morning. You can listen right here on 740 The Game. You can also watch us. Are we on right now?
Yes.
We're on right now. You can go to
on live.
740thegame.com. We are live in color, high definition, online right now, whatever that means. High def. By the way, we've been giving away these high def radios. What does that mean, high def radio?
Crystal clear, the best sound quality. Why do you have an HD TV? Because you want your picture perfect, right?
But
Well, that's what you get with an HD radio.
okay, but let me just say this: before there was HD TV,
Yeah.
I didn't know that it wasn't crystal clear.
But when you saw an HD TV, you knew, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
And
especially
now,
when I
would
like
you
to
go
watch-
back?
Huh?
You ever go to a bar and see a not HD TV? And you're like,
See,
oh, I can't look at that one.
Whenever I'm in a bar, I don't like
You don't look at it.
focus in on.
We
Like,
go to
oh,
a
wow,
friend's
is that
house
HD?
and judge them immediately
No.
on their non-HD.
You remember when? Did I ever tell you this? When I had HD TV, when I first got it, I didn't know that you had to have it on the HD channels.
Like, it doesn't work.
So I'm watching this HD TV. I go, what's the big deal about this HD TV? It doesn't look any different. And then I was in doing the radio show one morning, and Mark Daniels goes, well, what channels do you have it on? I go, well, just 2, 4, just normal channels. And Mark Daniels says, well, you have to go to the HD channels.
Yeah.
So I went on the HD channels. I went, wow, that is quite a bit clearer.
Oh my God,
isn't
this is amazing. That's an incredible thing.
it? All right, it's time for a special Mikey's edition of the Bianchi Blast.
This Mikey's edition of the Bianchi Blast is brought to you by College Hunks Hauling Junk and College Hunks Moving. Check them out today at collegehunks.com.
Forget those other punks. Call the hunks.
All right, an interest in keeping up with the nonstop speculation in sports today, or just at least this week. It's a constant speculation source. Your special sources, Mike Bianchi, have told you that LeBron James is sitting at about a 90% chance to not show up at today's Mikey Awards.
That would be a fact, although I do have sources within the Clear Channel Performing Arts Theater this morning that say that they are hearing that LeBron James is going to sign with the Orlando Magic today.
Those are trusty sources,
He's going to shock the world, drive up I-95, take a left at I-4, and head right to Orlando, where I'm hearing, according to Chris Broussard's sources, that they have a press conference scheduled for 3:30 today to announce that LeBron James will be joining Channing Frye as the focal point of rebuilding the Magic.
Hey, bunch of defense, all you need is an offense, right?
right. Hey,
LeBron James is his own personal offense.
LeBron James wants to mentor Aaron Gordon and Elfrid Payton into champions.
I like it. Let's do that. Yesterday, we had an epic call-off between the Caller of the Year finalist Steve and other finalist Notepad Rick, who I think is already here in attendance.
Is Notepad here already?
I think I saw him poke his head in and wave at us.
Huh?
He came
Notepad
early.
can't wait to get here.
He's like, let me in, please. Social media was a buzz after this call-off and seemingly was split basically 50-50 on whether they wanted Steve or Notepad to win. So it's kind of up in the air even with the voting. You think that Steve did enough to upset the legend, Notepad Rick?
He did enough to upset Notepad Rick. I'm going to go. You talking about yesterday's call-off?
Yesterday's call-off. Was it enough?
Yesterday's call-off, I'm going to go fiction. No, that wasn't enough. Now, if you want to go complete body of work throughout the year,
Yeah.
I think an argument could be made for just Steve and over Notepad Rick. But here's the thing. It's sort of like heavyweight fighting, all right?
Yeah.
If you're going to beat the champion, you have to really decisively beat the champion to dethrone him. And I don't know that during yesterday's call-off that Steve did enough to dethrone the champion just yesterday. But throughout the course of the year, I think a case could be made that Steve's calls were every bit as good, if not better, than Notepad Rick's.
Well,
I think a case could be made. Now, I'm not going to make that case because, you know, I like to back the legends. I like to back the old guys like Notepad Rick. Now, you're a young guy. You probably back just Steve, who's the up-and-comer.
I always like the new guy. I mean, he's basically been a part of this show almost as long as me now. So it's about the same level of involvement in the open mic program. So I don't know. I'm edging a little bit towards him, but Notepad always has the gold too. And like he actually said in his call-off yesterday, he was up at the crack of dawn, or actually before it, out west to call us about the national championship game after the national championship game. So
by the
who
way,
knows?
Is it true what Notepad Rick said that, okay, I wasn't here during the show because I was out covering the national title game. He said, I think it was Shot Doctor hosting the show that
Yes,
morning?
I think he was.
Notepad Rick said Shot Doctor would not allow calls. Is that true?
That's something you have to take up with the shot
Shot Doctor would not allow calls on open mic? I mean, Shot Doctor, that's the reason they call it open mic. It's open. People can call in and have their say. Shot Doctor. What?
He
Shot
banned him.
Doctor
He
banned
banned
Notepad Rick.
Oh, goodness.
Shot Doctor's already got his plate in his hand.
He's waiting.
All right.
So can I eat yet? All right, moving back to the world of sports. Now the NBA free agency world of speculation has continued. Thanks to constant unfounded claims of invisible sources or Stephen A. Smith's close personal friends.
Close personal friend.
Cleveland fans everywhere are absolutely sure, without a doubt, that LeBron James will return to their beloved Cavs. They have even resorted to gathering outside of his house in Akron, Ohio, in droves and camp out there overnight. There's even been a Twitter account made called LeBron's Lawn, who tweeted out, sources say, get off my lawn. Or get off of me, I think is actually what it said. But in the fact or fiction sense, Cleveland fans have completely lost their mind and are setting themselves up for just another heartbreak.
Fiction. I don't know if they're setting themselves up for heartbreak, but yeah, they've absolutely lost their mind. But you know what? If it was LeBron coming to Orlando, Orlando would have completely lost its mind. If it was LeBron perhaps going to any team, you're going to lose your mind because he's the biggest star not only in the NBA, he's the biggest star in sports today.
Yeah.
In the world. In the world, is there a soccer player bigger than LeBron?
Messi.
He's bigger than LeBron?
Yeah.
Throughout the
In
world?
the world, yes.
Okay.
I think LeBron could be close because basketball is also big throughout the world. Last one, and back to the Mikeys to finish. Our local sporting event of the year award was a very, very close battle this year, and down to the finish between the Bounce House Brawl of South Carolina versus UCF and the NCAA tournament rounds 2 and 3 at the Amway Center. The winner of this was actually the Bounce House Brawl by just 2 votes. It was an unbelievable race to the finish. But this proves to you, Mike Bianchi, that thanks to UCF's magical season in 2013, Orlando is now a Knights first city.
Oh, fiction. No, I don't believe that at all. We'll see what happens. You have to have sustained success over and over and over again. Well, you went to some UCF games this year. The state, the South Carolina game was packed, but there were about 10,000 South Carolina fans there as well. Don't forget that.
Yes, we were.
That helped pack the stadium. To be a Knights town, UCF has to pack that 40,000 seat stadium when they're playing a conference game against Tulsa or whoever.
UConn.
Yeah, that's when they have to pack the stadium, not when they're playing, the number 3 or 4 team in the country, an SEC powerhouse with Steve Spurrier coaching. And I mean, yeah, they're going to sell that game out, but that doesn't prove that UCF, that Orlando is a Knights town.
That was your Mikey's edition of the Bianchi Blast.
I'm going to tell you once and for all when we come back. I'm going to settle it. You can watch the news all day, but I'm going to settle it once and for all where LeBron is going, and I will do it next, and I'll tell you why he's going there. Open mic, 740 The Game, Orlando Sports Leader.
More sources.
The king, he's going to have the king statue.
Telling you, he's going to Sacramento. Fulfill his destiny and be the king of the kings. Oh, is that Steve?
Huh?
That's Steve.
Where?
Yeah, next to Notepad. I think.
Is that Steve?
I think it is. How much time do we have?
Yes, he is.
Oh, we go to the bathroom.
Notepad. Wow. What about you guys? Fraternizing.
I wish you could see the stream of how good it looks.
Does it look good?
Yeah, because the camera's right here.
Huh?
All you see is this in the background, and you got to sit here. Looks like the camera over here shooting the big room. It looks really good.
Do we have anybody downstairs telling people to go to the 4th floor or not?
You know what? I'll have someone down there put a sign like here.
Yeah. Tessie. Tessie. Happy birthday. Hey, I want you to get up around 7:15. And I want you, actually, yeah, but I'll call you again. But I want you to log on to the internet. We're doing our live show, the Mikey's this morning. And the house band is here, Jeffrey and the band, and we're going to sing happy birthday to you. You can watch it on, it's a live stream. Huh? All right. Huh? Okay. Tell your mom. Tell your mom that we're going to do it too. Okay?
Every day,
I'll call you back.
the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775,
Sports updates that they've been playing, at the end of it, it's saying more Alley Peak next. It's happened twice.
as Marines, we take a stand
Hey, guys.
for our nation, for us all.
When you guys play the sports update, it says more Alley Peak next.
Sports update or the weather?
The weather or the sport? It was the weather.
Yeah, I'm changing that.
Okay. Hmm? That's when we have a guest that comes up. Yeah. Good. You? You too. How you doing? You been down south or? Oh, did you? Oh, cool. Thank you. Hey, can you write down all the guys' names?
Search for your name or business. Do you like what you see? Do your search results make you look the way you want to be seen? Or do
Yeah, right
you
here.
do entirely black eye? Negative online content, embarrassing pictures, videos, divorce and bankruptcy rulings, newspaper articles, bad business reviews, blogs, and other sources can have a serious impact on your life and your business. Fortunately, Reputation.com can help.
What?
I was telling him, in 4 weeks, Medifast could sponsor me too.
Once he's out of there, those two are out of there, you're going to be nothing again.
They're 8 pounds of the
There's 2 humans in there.
22 so far. I think the boobs are kind of too.
Well, it happens.
Hi. How you doing?
We called each other.
It's Mike Brinson.
Brinson. Okay. All right. I got you. I don't know the rest of you, but
Get nervous on the radio, right? You're just a newcomer.
are we on? Oh, yeah. Welcome back. Open mic, 7:40 the game. The crowd, the regular crowd starting to shuffle in, as Billy Joel would say. The Mikey's officially starts in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
7 a.m. this morning, the Mikey's officially starts. Before the Mikey's officially starts, let's settle this once and for all, Diddy. All of this LeBron talk has been, it's been enveloping. It's been suffocating. Now, I listen to a lot of sports talk radio.
Yeah.
And I was driving around town yesterday, and that's all anybody was talking about. Now, there was an occasional mention of the Germany-Argentina World Cup final on Sunday. There was an occasional mention of that. But mostly, it was people speculating on LeBron James. What's he going to do? He was out in Vegas yesterday. Dwayne Wade shows up at his camp, and everybody goes, oh, that's a sign.
He flew home with them, too.
And then he flew.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a sign.
But he was wearing yellow.
And that's a sign
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
of the
And
Cavs.
I think his blue and black were the colors of his camp.
Now, there was a yesterday afternoon, about 1 o'clock. Oh, the Cleveland Cavaliers have called a press conference for 3:30.
Yeah.
He's going to Cleveland. He's going to Cleveland. Everybody's getting ready for the big Cleveland announcement. Oh, that press conference was to announce Kyrie Irving's extension.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So much for that.
Yeah. So I got to tell you, do we have the Charles Barkley clips? Do we have the Charles Barkley clips back there in the studio? All right. Okay, well, Charles Barkley went on one of the Cleveland radio stations yesterday, and talk about playing to the crowd. Charles Barkley said LeBron should play in Cleveland. Here's Charles Barkley. He also said that LeBron should go back to Cleveland because Cleveland has the best number 2 player of any of the number 2 players, Heat or Cavaliers, and that's Kyrie Irving. Yeah, but Charles, what about that Dan Gilbert letter, the Cavaliers owner 4 years ago when LeBron left, where he absolutely ripped LeBron, called him a traitor? How does LeBron overlook that, Chuck? Wow. You know what? I think Charles Barkley's right. I'm going to tell you right now. I think LeBron, first of all, you know my feelings, did he? Yeah. I think LeBron James should go back to Cleveland, and I think he will go back to Cleveland for this reason and this reason alone. What's LeBron James playing for right now? I mean, obviously championships, but, I mean, LeBron James, his legacy as one of the great players in NBA history, that's already been settled, okay? He's already going to go down as one of the great players in NBA history. Now, how great? That's the question. And he's playing for his legacy. There's only one place he can go that is going to significantly upgrade LeBron James' legacy, okay? He can stay in Miami, and win a couple more titles. And, that's not going to significantly upgrade his legacy. He could go to the Knicks or, to the Lakers and win titles. Everybody wins titles with the Lakers. The Knicks,
Nobody wins titles with the Knicks.
Yeah, nobody wins titles with the Knicks. But if he goes back to Cleveland and wins championships, his legacy is incredible. I mean, first of all, he will have been returning to his hometown. He becomes a hometown hero again. He takes an entire city, the beleaguered and battled city of Cleveland that everybody makes fun of, the mistake by the lake, and he elevates that city to a champion. My God, that would do more for LeBron James' legacy than anything he's done in Miami. Anything he's done in Miami. And plus, like Charles Barkley said, Cleveland has the pieces now to win championships. Kyrie Irving is better than Dwayne Wade right now. Kyrie Irving is better than Chris Bosh. You have Andrew Wiggins, a young guy, a number 1 pick in the draft. We don't know how he's going to turn out, but all indications are that the guy's going to at least be an all-star someday. I got to tell you, if LeBron James doesn't go to Cleveland, I think he's making a bad decision.
I disagree completely.
Why?
I think it's a bad decision to go back. You
Why?
talked about the legacy. Look at the flip side of that legacy. You signed, say, a 4-year deal to go back to Cleveland to improve your legacy. Because, if he does go back and he does win a title there or a couple, sure, that helps pad his legacy, make it look better that he went back and won. But how about after
Wait,
that
wait,
4
wait, wait,
years?
Wait a minute. Wait, stop right there. You say makes it look better. You make it sound like, oh, yeah, it'd be a little bit better.
Oh,
It
because
would be-
everybody's so upset that, he left them to win, but then he comes back and everyone will forget about that and stop
Yeah,
griping
but-
about
but,
something
I
that
mean,
was
but
5 years
you
ago.
can disagree with that all you want, but you
No.
can't deny that if he goes back and wins titles, it won't just
If.
improve his. Yeah.
Yeah, if. Well,
if.
what's the flip side? He goes back for 4 years and doesn't win a title.
Okay.
He's 34 years old, still technically in part of his prime, going out as a free agent again. Are you going to stay when you went back for another experiment that failed?
See, that's the
then you leave a second time. Where's your legacy?
That's the difference between me and you, Diddy. You look at what if he fails.
Hey.
You think LeBron
Hey.
is saying, you know what if I fail? Hell no, Diddy. Winners say, what if I win?
Yeah.
What if I win?
What if I win? But you know what? It's like they always say, hope for the best, but expect the worst. Prepare for the worst.
Nah.
And to prepare for the
Nah.
worst is that in 4 years, when you decide to leave Cleveland and just spurn those fans a second time after failing twice to win a title in your hometown, then what are you, legacy-wise?
Why do you? First of all, why do you think he would leave Cleveland in 4 years?
If they didn't win, why
Yeah.
would he?
Because if they didn't win,
Last time he left when they didn't win, he won somewhere else.
okay, but last time they didn't win, he didn't have a supporting cast around him. He had a bunch
No.
of bums.
Right now, we have a question mark in Andrew Wiggins, a guy who completely ghosted in the NCAA tournament. We have a question mark, really, as far as postseason play in Kyrie Irving. The guy's never seen it.
on. Kyrie
There's
Irving's
no
one of the
experience on that team as far as playoff basketball whatsoever. There's none, except for one LeBron James if he's there.
Okay.
I don't see that as a
I'm
proof
gonna-
that they're the best team now.
I'm going to change your mind right now.
Okay.
All right. If he goes to Cleveland and wins,
Mm-hmm.
all right, is there any other team out there that would significantly improve his legacy like winning in Cleveland?
No, but
Then
I
why
still
the-
think
the-
his legacy improves with rings because everyone's always going to point out the number of rings
Yeah, but
and
again,
the number of finals he lost.
again, if Shaq had won titles in Orlando, he would be. I'm not saying he's not looked upon as a great player, but everybody wins titles in L.A. All right.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go to L.A., though. What if he was to go to New York? They've had all these hopeful years going into seasons with these superstar players on the Knicks and failed to win titles. What if he goes and doesn't fail to win titles?
he's not going.
He takes that extra
New
step.
York's not even in the running. Why are
I know,
we even
but
discussing
what
New
if
York?
what if that was a possibility? There's a bunch of other teams that aren't L.A. or Boston that he can win titles at.
Well, I'm just telling you. Winners expect to win. LeBron James, he's not looking at, if I go back to Cleveland and lose, how am I going to look? That's not what he's going.
What he should be looking
No,
at is,
here's-
if
look-
I go back to Cleveland, can we beat the Spurs?
Well,
I don't think that's a yes.
Well, if he goes back to Miami, can they beat the Spurs? That's not a yes
I don't know.
either because
they have a lot more cap room.
because they just got destroyed by the Spurs.
Your best friend cap flexibility is abundant in Miami right now.
Cap flexibility is abundant in Cleveland too. Okay, I mean Andrew Wiggins ain't going to make a big salary for a few years. Cleveland's got plenty of cap flexibility. All right, when we come back, it's time. The official start of the Mikeys. That is coming up next on Open Mic, 7:40 The Game. Who are we, Diddy?
Orlando's sports leader.
There he
He's
is.
already here. Yeah. We were wrong. LeBron James did show up at the Mikeys.
Check one. Check. Simon, you're going to count us in then?
Check one, 1, 2.
No. You guys are going to count us in. Diddy, you're going to count us in. You're going to.
Yeah.
You want to put them in order?
Yeah.
It's the
kill the bed
local
for the
athlete
interview.
of the year,
Kill the
the
bed for the
guest
interview.
of the year, the Floridian State athlete of the
30.
year, the caller of the year. What's 8 a.m. Diddy? Coach of the year. 8:15, the Shot Doctor Buffoonery Award. 8:30, the Lifetime Achievement.
Ah.
Shaking off the nighttime, funky play-by-play. Grab your cup of coffee, 7:40 starting the day. The Yankees gonna talk some rockin' sport down the I-4 corridor. Yeah. To get your motor running, time to put the pedal to the floor. Open mic, 7:40 the game. Talking blood and guts and dream. Open mic, the best you've ever seen. But he might make you scream.
Oh, yeah. We are streaming this morning. That is the house band, the Down Brothers. Let's hear it for the house band. The Mikeys now live. Let's hear it for the house band, the Down Brothers, the 4th annual Mikeys, presented by Advanced Auto Parts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Mikey Awards is the premier sports awards show. Have we determined in this country or in this county?
Well, we'll start with county.
We'll start with
we
county,
can push it to country.
but you know, forget the ESPYs, forget the Oscars, forget the Grammys, the Emmys, all those other shows. The Mikeys, we are the most prestigious awards show in all of sports. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Advanced Auto Parts. Thank you also to Shula's 347 for providing us with a delicious, delicious breakfast this morning. Do they have the French toast over there?
I'm going to use the power of my nose and say probably.
Yeah.
Everything smells absolutely amazing, and I'm not allowed to eat any of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you're on the MetaFast diet. And which brings us, thank you to our regular sponsors here on Open Mic, MetaFast, Kerr's Wing House, which is the Wing House girls. Are they here yet? They're going to be here.
Yes, they are.
Later this morning. There they are, right there.
There's two actually in front of the elevator greeting our guests.
They're going to be our envelope carriers as we announce the awards. They're going to bring the hermetically sealed envelopes to us that hold the award winners inside of them. Also, the Me Law Firm, we want to thank them. Headquarter Hyundai, Caddyshanks, mentioned MetaFast, and of course my newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel, which allows me to do this silliness every morning. It is the Mikeys, and wow. We're going to hand out a number of awards this morning. Best Athlete, Coach of the Year, Florida Athlete of the Year. A lot of awards going on this morning. Diddy, you weren't, I mentioned this earlier, you weren't here for the first annual Mikeys, but it was a ragtag operation done in the little studio across the way, a little cramped studio. It was me, Fritz, and Kravitz. But now we are live, 7:40 The Game, live studio audience here. Yeah. We're live online. You can watch us in high-def internet television on 740thegame.com. Live internet television.
Yeah, and we apologize for the gleam coming off of our domes onto this camera, probably.
Did you get your head shaved?
Yeah, I had to go to the barber, get all cleaned up. We're having an award show here.
You look good. You got the
tux. I'm not going to wear a tux and look all scruffy.
You've got the red tux on. Yeah. I've got the green tux.
We're like Christmas.
Yeah. Green is the color of money, which is what the Mikeys is going to be today. It's going to be a money show. Should we get to our first award?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go. Diddy, you want to read the nominees?
Yeah, Local Athlete of the Year. Obviously, we have a little bit of a caveat on this one. You had to have gone to high school here and been successful in sports, obviously. We have different nominees, starting with our very own right here, Mr. Orlando, Mr. Jaguar, Blake Bortles, Jaguars QB now, UCF QB last year, Oviedo High School QB a handful of years back, local athlete. Drew Butera is our second nominee, Dodgers catcher. Caught the perfect game, the no-hitter by Josh Beckett a couple weeks back. He went to UCF and played at Bishop Moore. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. U.S. men's national team and Sporting KC MLS soccer player Graham Zusi of Lake Brantley High School, Brandon Marshall of the Chicago Bears via UCF and Lake Howell High School, and lastly, the PGA golfer Matt Kuchar of Seminole High School. Those are our nominees for Local Athlete of the Year.
And the winner is Rob Costello with a drum roll over there, the house band. And the winner is, let me get this envelope open.
They're difficult. They're difficult to open.
There we go. And the winner is USA, USA,
Yes.
USA, Graham Zusi.
All right.
Team USA, soccer star, Lake Brantley High School. Now, Graham is out in Kansas City right now playing for Sporting KC of the MLS, but we had a chance to sit down with him yesterday, in fact. And here's our conversation with Graham Zusi. We now welcome in the Mikey Local Athlete of the Year, Graham Zusi, Lake Brantley High School star, grad, Team USA starter, now plays for Sporting KC in the MLS. Graham, congratulations for winning this Mikey.
Thank you very much.
What time's your
Graham,
fiance gonna be?
She's here.
Soccer popularity is really skyrocketing,
She just got here.
particularly in your hometown of Orlando.
yeah, it's really an exciting time for soccer in this country.
He's like,
The MLS is really on the uprise. The U.S. has had a good run of the World Cup. Yeah, Orlando City is coming to the league next year. Already they have a great following, and I'm excited for what's going on out there.
Graham, Orlando's TV ratings for the World Cup were among the highest in the country. You grew up in this town over in Longwood. Why do you think Orlando has embraced soccer?
I think it's kind of been a hotbed for soccer for a long time now. And I think it's been craving that professional atmosphere. Orlando City has done so well as a team in the past few years. I think people are just loving the success they've had. They're making that jump now to MLS, which is awesome and amazing for them. Their following is going to continue to grow.
Graham, obviously you play in the MLS. What attracted you to the league, and what does the league have to do, and how far does it have to go before it is recognized as one of the premier leagues in the world?
Well, I just love the direction that the league's headed in. It's compared to some of the other leagues around the world, it's still so young, but we're just on an exponential rise right now. I think there's players in this league now who, or players around the world who are coming to this league who, maybe a few years ago, towards the end of their career, they wanted maybe a little vacation time before they hung up their boots, but now you've got players coming back in their prime. People like Clint Dempsey, Michael Bradley. It's just a testament to the direction that we're headed in. We're going to be a very competitive league around the world in a very short amount of time.
Graham, can we see Graham Zusi play for the hometown team someday?
I want to see about that, yeah. Obviously very happy down here in Kansas City. Another great organization. But yeah, that could be a possibility. That'd be fun.
Graham, tell us about the World Cup experience. Now, a lot of American soccer fans were sort of celebrating, even though you guys, lost in the round of 16. I don't think you guys were celebrating the loss, were you?
No, not by any means. It was a great feat to get out of that group of death, but tell you there wasn't one huge person that walked around that field who didn't take it in to go out there and beat those. So we certainly gave it our best shot. Can't fault the effort we put into that game. We're a little unlucky there.
Graham, I'm no soccer aficionado, but can you, a soccer expert and a world-class soccer player, can you explain the Germany-Brazil game to us? How does that happen?
I don't know if anyone can explain that game. I've never seen anything like that on a stage like that. I think the wheels just must have fallen off. It's so hard to explain what just happened in that game. For as bad as Brazil looks, Germany looks that good. And, they were at a different level that day. But still, a 7-1 thrashing is obviously not seen very often, especially in the semifinal of World Cup.
Talking to Team USA, soccer star Graham Zusi, Lake Brantley High School, our local athlete of the year. Graham, last couple of things. Just talk about the soccer fandom in Brazil, because after Brazil lost, they're talking about the president of the country might not get reelected now because of that loss. Is there anything in this country that you can compare that to?
I'm not sure. The passion that those people have for the sport is really unmatched in the world. That's why I think this World Cup was so much fun to not only be at but to watch. I didn't hear that stat, but that's something that, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me, which is just crazy. But no, their passion out there is just crazy.
All right, Graham, last thing. Obviously, you had a lot of help along the way to become a world-class soccer player. Tell us about growing up in a soccer family. All 4 kids were soccer players. Your dad was a soccer coach. Your mom, I guess, used to bake homemade cookies, and you guys would travel to games in your old VW bus. What was that like?
Yeah, it was so much fun. I had so many amazing memories about my childhood growing up playing some soccer. And yeah, like you said, my dad coached all 4 of us at some point in our lives. All 4 of us played collegiately, and all 4 of us still play, whether it's at the professional level or a Sunday men's league. But no, it's just the sport meant so much to us as a family, and we made such incredible relationships through it. I think we owe so much to the sport.
Graham Zusi, the Mikey Award winner for Local Athlete of the Year. Graham, congratulations on a great World Cup run, and good luck in the MLS this year.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
USA, USA, USA. Let's hear it for Graham Zusi, your Local Athlete of the Year. Coming up next, we have a lot of great guests on our show. But who is the guest of the year? Who will win that, Mikey? That next, open mic, 740 The Game, Orlando Sports Leader.
He's an American girl, raised on promises. He was thinking that there's no more.
From the David Moss Volkswagen Traffic Center in eastbound I-4, there was an accident near 1792 hit and run, and it was all off to the side. They wrapped up that construction that was on the southbound Greenway near Reinhardt Road. We still have some road work eastbound on Colonial at Vintage Village Lane and at Dean Road. Traffic is moving well on the 408 and on the beach line. In outdoor, an accident on County Road 448 at Oak Shadow Lane is off to the side. When you see traffic problems, call the State Security Tip line at 866-676-8477 from the Traffic Center on Daisy.
This report is brought to you by Orlando Regional Realtor Association. Central Florida's real estate market is on the move. Whether you're buying, selling, or renting, contact your realtor today.
Alone on a balcony, you can hear the cars go by down on 441. That way, flashing on the beat. Number one special moment there. He crept back in her memory. God, so painful, something so close. It's so
Still got 3 minutes. Hey, Chris. Chrissy V. You down there? Trying to get Chris. Hello. Bandwagon Vasquez.
A marvelous night for the moon dance with the stars up above in your eye. A fantabulous night to make romance beneath the cover of October sky. And all the leaves on the trees are blowing. The sound of the breeze as it flows. I'm trying to please to the calling. Your heartstrings are play soft and low. And all the night magic seems to whisper and touch. And all the sun moonlight seems to shine. Mom, dance with you, my love. Can I just make some mom dance down with you, my love? It's a marvelous night for the moon day, with the stars up above in your eyes. Fantabulous night to make romance, you cover of a fuck to the sky. And all the leaves on the trees are blowing to the sound of the breezes that flow. And I try to the calling, heartstrings that play soft and low. And all the night
fired up over there.
They are fired up.
As long as we have the house band fired up over there, we have a couple of birthdays. My daughter, Tess, is 19 today. She'll be watching, she is watching right now online. Also, Diddy.
Yeah. My fiance's birthday is also today. Alana, happy birthday.
Can we do a little happy birthday song? House band? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tess and Alana. Happy birthday to you. Very nice. Thank you, house band. That's the Down Brothers. All right. We pride ourselves on having the best guests of any radio show in town. We run the gamut of national guests, entertainment guests like Frank Caliendo, the top local guests, Jimbo Fisher, Will Muschamp, Billy Donovan, George O'Leary. We consider ourselves not only a sports show, but an entertainment show, a news show, whatever you want to call us. Just don't call us late for dinner, right, Diddy?
That's right. Never.
That brings us to our next award.
Open Mic Guest of the Year.
That's right, as you just said, a bunch of incredible guests throughout the year. We actually have some clips of these nominees. We're going to start off with Florida State University football coach Jimbo Fisher.
We've had that discussion. We've always had that discussion. That's been a discussion for a long time. It's important to him to get his degree. and he wants to continue in some baseball. And like I said, Andrew Luck did it. Peyton Manning did it. Why can't James Winston do it? See, we assume every kid wants to run to the money. That money's going to be there one way or the other. And at quarterback, the more you play and the more you develop, I think it's one of the key components. You watch a lot of quarterbacks fail in pro football. I think it's because they truly haven't had that foundation. They've only had that one or 2 years of development. Now, he may change it in time, but the discussions now and what we've discussed with his family and him is that, because education is very critical to him. He's a great student.
Moving on to our next nominee for Guest of the Year, the maybe funniest man we've ever had in. I don't know, you might argue that, but this guy absolutely kills us every time he shows up. The one and only Frank Caliendo.
How about that Harry Potter? What's the name of that school that kid went to? Hogwarts? I'll tell you what, I don't care if you're Minerva, McGonagall, Albus Dumbledore, or Severus Snape. You're Harry Potter. You're pretty good at the game of Quidditch. Right now in the Bianchi radio audience, the open micers thinking, hey, if you're in Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, or Ravenclaw, you're in the middle of this stuff, man. But if you're in Slytherin, you're saying the name that shall not be named right there. I'll tell you what, that Voldemort, you got a sneaking likeness to him there, man.
Oh, my God.
I'll tell you what, where's that guy's nose? Tell you what, brings us back to Warren Sapp, man. That guy, pretty good at what he did. I did something a little weird today.
I love that
Right now,
guy.
Jerry Green's at home listening and going, that's the perfect one. Come on, Jerry, we were kids together.
Special guest appearance by Mike Bianchi's laugh throughout that clip.
That's funny.
Frank Caliendo, amazing. Our next nominee for Guest of the Year is the one and only Stan Van Gundy.
I think we're actually experiencing a resurgence
Mm-hmm.
of racism. I think it's getting worse. And, those kind of attitudes are out there. But I think to come from the NBA, look, if any industry, if any league should be at the forefront of equality and tolerance and everything, it should be the NBA.
The next nominee for Guest of the Year is a man that last man said takes a backseat to nobody. Billy Donovan, head coach of University of Florida men's basketball team.
I do believe this for any people, all of us in life. You're never going to do your job effectively or well if you're not in a good place mentally and emotionally. And I think the first thing you try to do, as a coach, is to take a pulse on where individuals are at mentally. There's always some residual effect after every game. Somebody played great, think they got it all figured out. Another guy's played poorly and has lost some confidence. Another guy's upset he didn't get enough playing time. There's always effects coming out of every game. And then what you've got to do is try to get your team back to the mental state that they need to be in as they get ready for the next game. And I do agree with you that for me, is a major, major part in what we try to do, with these guys getting them ready to play.
And our final nominee for Guest of the Year this year for the Mikeys is UCF head football coach George O'Leary.
I think anytime you have the human element in a vote, I think there's always going to be reflections back on what conference put you in there to begin with and who put you in there. But I think that 4-team thing needs to go to 8 and at least get more people involved in the playoff. And I think that would probably even the field a little bit out a little bit more as far as getting the right teams and creating more of a stir as far as fan interest and economy and everything else. But I think they go to 8 and then seed the 8 at the back end, and one plays 8 and work your way there. And between 3, 4, and 5, there's not much difference as far as when you're looking at teams in the country. And I wouldn't want to be the 5th team out, but I think when you get to 8, the 9th team is probably where you belong anyway.
And the winner is Open Mike Guest of the Year, Stan Van Gundy. Now, Stan was going to be here today. His Detroit Pistons are playing in the Summer League, but their Summer League game got moved to 8 a.m. this morning. So Stan Van Gundy over at the Amway Center, where, by the way, he hasn't stepped foot in the Amway Center since he got fired by the Magic until this week in the Summer League. And I got to tell you, we had Stan Van Gundy on each and every week on this show. I didn't want to see him get a job with the Pistons because that meant he wasn't going to be here anymore.
Yeah. That was the only bad aspect of it. Obviously, you want the guy to have a job, and he does doing what he does
He
best,
had a job.
coaching basketball.
We were paying him $100 a week. Okay? Good Lord.
I don't know if you leave coaching in the NBA to be a weekly correspondent on local radio, but congrats to Stan. I mean, he's going to do a great job up there.
The great thing about Stan as a guest, though, he was so candid.
Absolutely.
I mean, he would talk about anything, anybody, politics, sports, rock and roll. It didn't matter. You could talk to Stan about it. I did notice, though, I heard Stan on a national interview a few days ago. Since he's become an executive now with the Pistons, he's not nearly as candid anymore.
Well, now he's got to he checks and balances himself now. He can fire himself from that job. You got to be careful.
Yeah, he's Mr. Politically Correct now, Stan.
Stay
Van
in
Gundy.
line. Got to stay in line now.
Yeah. So congratulations to Stan Van Gundy, the open mic Mikey Guest of the Year. All right, big award coming up next. The State Athlete of the Year. We like to call it the Floridian. That next, open mic, 7:40 The Game. The Mikeys rolls on.
Getting ready for the news. Some are happy and some are sad. Oh, let the music play.
I'm Tom Morgan with your 740 The Game Sports Update. The waiting game continues for the Miami Heat and Cleveland Cavaliers fans. LeBron James let Thursday go by without making a final decision on where he'll play basketball next season. James spent Thursday attending his basketball camp in Las Vegas. Everyone is chiming in on what LeBron should do.
LeBron should go back to Cleveland. I think it'd be a great story. I don't think he should have left Cleveland in the first place, but I think it'd be just great for him to go back home and finish his career. I think it'd be great for the city of Cleveland, and I hope he does.
That's TNT analyst Charles Barkley. The Magic lost 76-67 to the Celtics to finish 6th in the Orlando Summer League. Seth Curry, trying to make the team at shooting guard, made 4 threes and scored 15 points. Former Magic center Marcin Gortat has signed a 5-year, $60 million deal to stay with the Washington Wizards. That's your sports update. I'm Tom Morgan on your home for the Camping World RV Sales 301, Sunday at noon, 7:40 The Game. Orlando's sports leader.
If someone asks you, do you know what's happening in your house right now? Your answer would normally be, no, I'm not psychic. But if you own a super simple high-definition Wi-Fi-enabled drop cam, your answer would be, as a matter of fact, I do. And if that same someone asks, can you prove what's happening in your house right now? You could pull out your computer or tablet or smartphone and show them. With drop cam, you can monitor anything from anywhere.
Like a lazy flowing river, surrounding castles in the sky. Crowd is growing bigger, listening to the happy sound. Oh, you got to fly. Oh, oh, listen to the music. Oh, oh, listen to the music. Oh, oh, listen to the music all the time. One, two, three, four. Me and all my friends, all misunderstood. Say we stand for nothing, no way we ever could. Everything is going wrong in the world knows the leaders. Don't feel like we don't have the means. Rise above and beat it. So I keep waiting on the world to change. I keep on waiting Tonight we don't care.
How much time we got?
Fight ain't fair. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change.
How much time we got?
If we had the power, bring our neighbors home from war. Never miss a Christmas, no more ribbons on your door. Trust your television, but your will is what you got. All the information, oh, they can bend it all they want. I keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. I keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, we know that the fight ain't fair. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. General right. I know it's wrong. I know it is cowbell. Keep on waiting, waiting for the world to change.
Well,
Keep
that's how much
on
time's left. They don't
waiting
jump.
for the world to change. It's not that we don't care. We know that the fight is fair. Keep on waiting.
Better say open mic, Chris.
Waiting on the world.
I'm coming for you.
Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. I keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. I keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on
You can't hear me?
waiting on
We
the
have 14
world
seconds, so we have 10 seconds.
Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change, you know. Waiting, yeah, on the world.
You guys turn up my ear thing so I can hear.
On the world.
Second one.
Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. I keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Well, I keep on waiting on the world.
Oh yeah, the house band, we are waiting for the world to change. Welcome back to the Mikeys. The 4th annual Mikeys presented by Advance Auto Parts.
Waiting on the world to change.
We are rocking and rolling here this morning. Orlando's premier sports award event. I'm Mike Bianchi, sports columnist of the Orlando Sentinel. Joined in studio, or in the Performance Arts Theater.
That's right.
By co-host Mike Venditti, we just call him Diddy. Back in studio, Trey Downey, Scott Harris, Chris Vasquez, right here engineering, master engineer Simon Luke. We have handed out a variety of awards this morning. The next award is a big one. There are a tremendous amount of great athletes in the state of Florida. I mean, all you have to do is look at the college football recruiting signings every year, and there are traditionally more signees from Florida than just about any other state. This next award honors the athleticism in the Sunshine State. Let's get to it.
Open Mic Floridian Award.
That's right. The Flurry Award is for the best state athlete of the year. Your nominees are as follows. Starting off down in Miami with the Heat's, for now, I guess, LeBron James. Of course, this comes off of his 2013 championship, not the 2014 loss. So he's nominated after that title run of last year. He's probably a mainstay on this until he leaves the state of Florida, because how do you not have him in the running for a best state athlete when he's in your state? Second nominee for this, the one and only Blake Bortles, Jaguars QB, on this poll, obviously, for what he did at UCF last year with his ability to take that team to win a Fiesta Bowl. Third nominee is Scotty Wilbekin of the University of Florida men's basketball team that went all the way to the Final Four, Elite Eight last year and the year before. One of the most dominant teams in college basketball the last handful of years. Absolutely great player. Overcame some off-the-court issues to have a great season up there in Gainesville. Our fourth nominee for the Floridian Award is the Heisman Trophy winner and national champion himself, Jameis Winston, quarterback of the Florida State University Seminoles football team. And then I'm throwing in one for me, Giancarlo Stanton of the Miami Marlins. This guy is an animal. If you don't call him an athlete, you're wrong. So I have to put him on this one. And that's your nominees for Open Mic Floridian Award.
And the winner of the Open Mic Floridian Award for Best Athlete in the state of Florida, the one, the only, UCF, Blake Bortles.
There we go. The fight song playing now.
Ah, there it is, the UCF fight song. Bum, 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 bum.
Hey, you know the words.
Blake is out of town on NFL business and cannot be here, but we spoke to him earlier this week. Here's our conversation with Blake Bortles. Blake, congratulations for being named the Mikey State Athlete of the Year. Okay, Blake, tell the truth. What's a bigger honor? Being the first quarterback taken in the NFL draft or winning your first Mikey?
You know, I think this might have to take the cake, winning my first Mikey. I'm pumped about it, and definitely excited to take this home.
All right, Blake, you beat out athletes like LeBron James and Jameis Winston to win this award. I guess this is another example of how far UCF football and you have come.
Yeah, it's definitely unbelievable that people, chose me, and I mean, it's just a tribute to the success we had at UCF this season, and how much fun that was.
Blake, how much do you attribute your success to the fact that you sort of played your entire college career with a chip on your shoulder, that none of the so-called big schools thought you could play quarterback in college?
Yeah, I think it helped out. I think the whole time I was trying to show people that I could have played at their school. I could have been good for them. And then the more I kind of went through it, it was I was thankful for UCF taking a chance on me, and I wanted to prove Coach O'Leary right, and that he made the right decision, and rewarding him for giving me an opportunity.
Blake, have you ever thought about how many guys like you are out there, guys that for one reason or another didn't get recruited by the big-time schools but have the talent and desire to be great?
Yeah, I think there's a ton. I think you see it every year with guys playing really well at, mid-major schools or 1AA schools, and then you see it every year in the draft. Guys come out of schools that people don't expect and, end up having great NFL careers.
Talking to Blake Bortles, the Mikey's Award winner for State Athlete of the Year. Blake, how much will you stay involved with UCF? Will you still be a visible part of the program?
I'm definitely going to try to as much as possible. I think I'm pretty fortunate to be 2 hours away. So, I mean, whenever I can get back, whenever I can catch a game, whenever I can be involved and do anything I can, I definitely want to be there and be able to help and, continue to promote UCF around the country.
Okay, Blake, you're a Jacksonville Jaguar now. Orlando has always been Jacksonville's biggest TV market. Can Orlando finally become a Jaguars town?
I hope so. That's our goal. We took a caravan down to Oviedo the other day, trying to make some more fans, out of Orlando guys and girls. So being able to do stuff like that and connecting with the following, as Gus says, is something we're working on and trying to create as many Jags fans as possible.
Blake, even before the draft, you said it would be awesome to play for a team in this state. Why did you feel that way? Some guys might have wanted to go to Chicago or New York, but you wanted to stay in Florida. Why?
I've been in Florida my whole life. I love Florida. And then another thing was I felt really good about, especially Jacksonville and the coaching staff and everything that was here in Jacksonville. I felt a great connection on my pre-draft visit and really enjoyed it and could really see myself, playing here. So it was, it's unbelievable that it worked out this way.
All right, Blake, the Citrus Bowl's being renovated. We think the Jaguars should start playing some games down here. Can you make that happen?
I'll see what I can do. It'd be awesome to get a chance to go play in Orlando one more time.
All right, let's give it up for former UCF and current Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Blake Bortles, who just won the Mikey for State Athlete of the Year. Blake, congratulations and much love, my friend.
Thank you, Mike.
Blake Bortles, wow. What a tremendous year it was for UCF and Blake Bortles. A big, big award, another big, big award coming up. It's that time. They're both here. Notepad Rick and Just Steve. Who will win Mikey Caller of the Year?
Heading down south to the land of the pines. We're on my way down to North Carolina. Staring up ahead, praying to God I see headlights. Living by the coast, 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers. Take my Raleigh, I'll see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Running on the cold up in New England. I was born to play the fiddle in an old-time string band. My baby plays guitar, I pick the banjo now. It's starting to get cold, that old country chord. Lost my playing poker and I had to leave town. I ain't headed back to living that old life no more. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like a wind in the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking down south out of Roanoke, met a trucker out of Philly, took a nice long tow. But he's headed west to Cumberland Gap, Johnson City, Tennessee. Well, I gotta get a move before the sun comes up. See my baby calling me, and she's the only one. Big heading back, living that old life no more. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Well, rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Well, rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Well, rock me, mama, like the wind in the rain. Mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. All right, we're starting to get warmed up now because I'm not used to singing at 6 in the morning. Rosie Jones, here I am on back again. I know you're there, open up now and let me in. gonna rattle the cage till you open that door. There's no place left to go. Rosie, Rosie Jones, I can't shake you, baby. Rosie, Rosie Jones, Rosie, now you're driving me crazy. One more time, look in the shape of man. One more time, I turn the way I've been. And one more time, I got you under my skin. And Gypsy Queen, I see your body so pale and white. My head is spinning, got to help me now in this fight. Got no money in my pockets, let me owe it to you. Do me like you used to do. Rosie, Rosie Jones, I can't shake you, baby. Rosie, Rosie Jones, Rosie, now you're driving me crazy. Rosie, Rosie Jones, only you know now I can't breathe free. Take me down, look at the shape of man.
Welcome back. The 4th annual Mikey's, the house band singing one of the originals. One of my favorite Down Brothers songs, Rosie Jones. I gotta tell you, Diddy, since I've been single.
Yep.
Since I've been single, I've been very familiar with Rosie. Very familiar with Rosie. Oh, Rosie Jones. Okay, yeah, yeah, not Okay, not the other Rosie that I'm very familiar with these days. Welcome back to the Mikeys. We are rocking and rolling here with the Down Brothers. Everybody's starting to show up now. Some legends in the room. We'll talk to those later. One of the basic precepts when we started this goofy show nearly 4 years ago is we wanted to give Orlando sports fans a voice. And we wanted to take calls. There are a lot of shows out there, especially the national shows. They don't even take calls. Or they'll reserve like a 2-minute segment in a 4-hour show for callers. Well, we're not like that. We like to take calls every day, any time of the day. We like for our callers to be a part of our show. And we even said they're like a part of our family. We mentioned this yesterday. We have guys like Notepad Rick, LSU Allen, Clemson Tom. Unfortunately, we have Tennessee Mark. He's sort of our special child, our special caller. And you know, we love our callers, which is why this next award is one of our most important ones. Let's get to it.
That's right. I think the music is quite fitting for this category, Caller of the Year. These guys call in on a regular basis. And as much as we love LSU Allen, Spartan Steve, Buckeye Rob, and Willie, who were all nominated for this award, you were all also not finalists for this award. This came down to 2 men, and the 2 men that had a call-off yesterday on our very show. And we'll play a little bit of what they said yesterday. Let's start off with just Steve.
You can't take down the legend. It would be like a flea going up against George Foreman. You would look up, Foreman would bring out the big fist, put the squash on you. You can't take down a legend. You can't take shots at a legend. I have to be better than Notepad Rick. I can't cut the legs out from under him because the legs are like tree trunks. You said one thing that callers need to do. Bring the passion. And that's one area where I think I differ from Notepad Rick. Notepad Rick brings facts. Notepad Rick brings information. Notepad Rick brings quality. But Notepad Rick is like a surgeon. He will sit there and his calls will dissect things. If you like that, that's fine. If you like rational, that's fine. But where's the passion? Where's the heart? Where's the juice? Where's the righteous indignation? I bring the fan. I bring the guy who, when he sees something ridiculous will stand up and not dissect the points of why it's ridiculous. Will say, this is dumb, and this needs to be spoken about. Am I loud? Yes. Am I live? Yes. Am I local? Yes. Rick has a nickname. He has the nickname Notepad. He has the nickname Legend. Hopefully, Mike, at the end of this call, your callers will give me a nickname, and that is Caller of the Year, Steve.
And that was an epic,
Wow.
epic call-off plead for votes, and really it made this thing really close. And our second finalist for Mikey Caller of the Year is the two-time champion, in his own mind, three-time champion, but that's up for debate still, Mr. Notepad Rick.
This is no different than any other call to open mic for me, because every time I call open mic, my targeted outcome is a quality impact.
Yeah.
Not laughs, not jokes, not taking shots at Florida, Miami, or even Clemson, but a quality impact. And I'm going to tell you why. Because open mic is worth the effort. It isn't just fluff or drive time yapping. Open mic probes issues like race in sports, sexuality in sports, gender bias in sports, and, when needed, crime in sports. Yet, it manages to celebrate achievements and triumphs, and it calls a spade, and that takes guts. That's what gets me up to call at dark 30 Pacific time on both the dawn of the BCS title game and in the gloaming after that victory, because deep down at sports bars, at your table and wing joints, huddled around the copy machine and break rooms and other places you won't mention, yes, you want me on that phone. You need me on that phone. I use words like meathead, like 4 and 8er, like crabgate, passion, energy, conviction, and drive. And I use these words as the backbone to create an open mic quality impact at every call-in opportunity. And until you start handing out the Caller of the Year Mikey like a Cracker Jack prize, that's what I'm bringing to the phone each and every time. And to Steve, I say, if you've got it, bring it to the party.
Wow. Wow. This was a really, really close vote. Notepad Rick against Just Steve. And the winner of the Mikey Caller of the Year is the legend. Notepad Rick brings home his third Mikey Caller of the Year.
There's no distinguished host needing to whine, oh, come on, Tenorio, sing it, oh, come on. No, there's just, here it is. You've got to fight, fight, fight for FSU. You've got to South them Seminoles. You've got to win, 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 win that game and march on down and score those goals. For FSU is on the warpath now and at the battles, and she's great. She's great, so fight, 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 fight. For FSU, the Seminoles of Florida State. F-L-O-R-I-D-A.
S-T-A-T-E. Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo!
Notepad Rick.
College football.
He is here live in studio in the theater. Notepad Rick, congratulations. I got to tell you, it could have. We almost declared co-champions because the vote was that close, but you did get more votes than Steve, and we didn't want to rob you, as you said last year that you were robbed. But you have to give credit to Just Steve.
I have been doing nothing since I met him. He is the sauce for the goose. He drives my engine. He gets the job done. And I'll be honest with you, I thought you were going to say Just Steve. But this is great. I love it. I love the show. It's a lot of fun calling in. And the only thing I can think of that'll be more fun is when we administer a beatdown to Clemson Tom in the second game of the season in the Brick House.
Yeah.
So.
What about the Mikey Trophy?
Let me tell you
this year,
something.
huh?
The first Mikey.
What about the evolution of the Mikey Trophy?
The first Mikey was a call while I'm driving. I almost wrecked going to work. The second one was a laminated
plaque,
plastic sheet attached to a plaque. But this, I'm going to have to clear space in the trophy case. I'm going to have to go out and get a trophy case for this. So.
Yeah, that's bigger than Jameis's Heisman.
I don't think so.
Huh?
Okay, nothing's that big.
I like the ornate picture of me at the top.
I'm gonna have to do something with that.
Huh?
You know, we aspire to that. So, but thanks again. I can honestly say, in 60 years on the planet, this is, it's in the top 5.
Notepad, you gonna break down and cry? Notepad,
No, sir.
Huh?
No.
Notepad Rick, you're Mikey Caller of the Year. Thank you, Notepad.
Thanks, Mikey.
Wow. You know what? Notepad won the award, and he deserves to win the. I mean, he's like LeBron Jordan. He could win the MVP every year.
Yeah.
And he almost has. But I got to tell you, Just Steve. Is that his new nickname, by the way? Just Steve?
I mean, that's what you're dubbing him, so I guess we have to stick with that one.
Steve has been in it. I mean, he came on the scene when
with a vengeance over football season, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Just Steve, I mean, he came on the scene and was like, where did this guy come from?
And he didn't avoid the hot button issues. He came after it.
I was like,
he
is this
expressed himself? The guy was always on.
Yeah, is this guy a Jim Rome caller or
Right.
something? Where did he come from?
He's
The
better.
Rome show.
He's better. He's an open mic caller now.
Yeah, but incredible. Obviously, we're glad to have callers again. Guys like the Shot Doctor. Shot Doctor, he won't even take Notepad Rick's calls, okay? He won't even take Notepad Rick's calls, but we will. Notepad Rick, caller. Something happened between Notepad Rick and the Shot Doctor. You know these guys grew up together? Notepad
I heard
Rick
the story.
grew up with the Shot Doctor, and I don't know where the feud between the two began, but there is now an ongoing feud between Notepad Rick and the Shot Doctor. I don't know how it started, but it's there. It's visible. It's very visible. They have hard feelings toward each other. Shot Doctor's yelling at us
He's
now.
yelling at
Nobody
us,
can hear from
no.
you, Shot Doctor. When we bring you up for the Buffoonery Award, I want you to tell us how the feud started between yourself and Notepad Rick.
You have 15 minutes to formulate your story.
You guys were boyhood friends growing up. You used to go over to Notepad Rick's house for dinner. That's probably how it started, is you went over to his house for dinner and ate all the food, and they kicked you out. That's how it started, Shot Doctor. Just like you're trying to eat all the food here from Shula's 347 this morning. Yeah.
That's plate number 4.
When we come back, big award, Coach of the Year next. Open mic, 7:40 the game. Orlando Sports Leader.
Of the locomotive brand runs the all-time loser headlong to his dam. Oh, he feels the piston shaking, steam breaking on his brow. Oh, child stole the handle, and the train it won't stop going. No way to slow down. He sees his children jumping off at the stations one by one. His woman and his best friend.
Oh, of course.
They're letting having fun. Oh, he's crawling down the corridor on his hands and knees. Oh, Charlie stole the handle, and the train it won't stop going. No way to slow down. Take it, Jennifer.
Water. Thank you.
He hears the silence howling, catches angels as they fall.
Oh, yeah, welcome back. Let's hear it for the house band, the Down Brothers. Doing a little Jethro Tull there.
So fantastic.
Love a little Tull. Jennifer
wrong.
Wilson on the flute. Wow, that was incredible. Welcome to the 4th annual Mikey's presented by Advanced Auto Parts. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Mikey Awards is the premier sports award show in this country. There's no question about it. ESPYs, Grammys, forget about it. You got the Mikeys right here this morning. We still have many prestigious awards still to hand out. Again, thanks to the house band, the Down Brothers, for being here. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Advanced Auto Parts. Thank you also to Shula's 347 for providing us a delicious breakfast. Let's hear it for Shula's 347. By the way, are you guys only allowing the shot doctor one helping? One helping limit on the shot doctor. He's on 3 already. Good Lord. Good Lord. Also, our other regular sponsors of Open Mic, we'd like to thank them. Kerr's Wing House, which has provided us the beautiful and lovely Wing House girls this morning to give us the envelope. What are we calling them? The envelope carriers?
Envelope carriers and greeters. They're at the elevator bringing people in.
And greeters,
Yes.
okay. Also, the Me Law Firm, Headquarter Hyundai, Caddyshanks, the crews out from Caddyshanks and Metafast, and, of course, my newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel. We want to thank them for allowing us to do this silly show in the morning. Next award, let's get right to it. A lot of great coaches in the state of Florida this season. We had national championships. We had NBA finalists. We had BCS bowl winners. You name it, we had it in the state of Florida this year. That brings us to our next award.
Open Mic State Coach of the Year.
Our first nominee for State Coach of the Year comes right here from Orlando. It is George O'Leary of the UCF Knights football team. Obviously taking the Knights to an unprecedented 12-1 record and a Fiesta Bowl BCS Championship Bowl out there in Arizona. An absolutely amazing season he put together here for UCF. Our second nominee for Coach of the Year is Billy Donovan, University of Florida men's basketball coach. Final Four again. He just continues to win, and he's not even getting the Andrew Wiggins and Joel Embiids. He's getting basketball teams and winning year in and year out. And as Stan Van Gundy says, he takes a backseat to nobody, absolutely nobody in college basketball. Our third nominee for Coach of the Year comes from Florida State, that national champion, as you just mentioned, Jimbo Fisher, Florida State Seminoles football head coach. Another incredible season for him. 2 straight really good seasons, bouncing back, getting that program back to where it once was under Bobby Bowden. And lastly, and as we've precedented before, this has to do with last season's champion, the Miami Heat. So Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat is also a nominee for this award because of the 2013-2014 championship.
And the winner of the Mikey for State Coach of the Year is George O'Leary, UCF.
Fight song twice today.
Oh, the UCF fight song again. Now, George O'Leary's off on vacation, but this was him earlier in the week accepting the award. Coach O'Leary, congratulations for winning the Mikey for State Coach of the Year. You beat out Jimbo Fisher, among others, for the honor. Coach, this must be one of the proudest moments of your career.
Well, it is. Anytime you're honored as the Coach of the Year, I think it goes to a lot of people besides yourself, the assistant coaches, the players. And, I'm just happy for the award, and I appreciate the honor. And, obviously, you're in the business for a reason. And I think when you receive an award as Coach of the Year, there's a lot of things involved in it. But, again, I thank you for that. And it'll go on a wall in my office, and I'll have the chance to stare at it every day.
Oh, yeah. George O'Leary. Let's hear it for Coach O'Leary. He's not here, of course, but UCF Athletic Director Todd Stansberry is here. He's here live with us. Todd, what a year it's been for UCF. Blake Bortles wins the State Athlete of the Year. George O'Leary wins Coach of the Year. The Bounce House Brawl, South Carolina versus UCF. That was the event of the year in the city of Orlando. Wow.
No kidding. What a great finish to the year as we now turn around and start looking forward to Dublin.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun.
Yes,
that's going to be fun. Talk a little bit, Todd, about Coach O'Leary. I mean, you weren't here when he was hired, obviously, but he has methodically built this program to a point where it's now a BCS Bowl winner.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of history with Coach O'Leary because we were at Georgia Tech together. So I've known him for a long time, and he does it his way, which is the right way. I think the thing we're most proud of is not only does he build programs, but he builds young men, and we're really proud of the fact that when all's said and done, when you looked at those top 10 teams at the end of the season, we had the highest graduation rate, and that's something that at UCF we're extremely proud of, and that's a tribute to George and his staff.
I got to tell you, Todd, a lot of times you hear coaches and administrators talk about the first goal we have as a college football program is to educate our athletes. A lot of times it's just lip service, but I mean, Coach O'Leary and you guys really do. That really does seem to be the goal.
Well, it's something that he, that's the one thing he promises when he recruits these kids and to them and their parents is that he can't promise them that they'll play or that they'll end up in the league, but he will promise them that they'll get an education. And and everybody that knows Coach O'Leary knows that he's a pretty focused guy, and for him to be focused on that, I think, is what not only drives the success on the field, but holds these young men accountable, and that's why they're so successful off the field as well.
Talking to UCF Athletic Director Todd Stansbury. Todd, as long as we have you here, a very tenuous time in college athletics right now. There's talk of full cost scholarships. There's talk of the Power Five, the quote unquote Power Five conferences wanting more autonomy and perhaps even breaking off into their own division. What's UCF and what's the American Athletic Conference have to do to keep pace?
Well, I think we need to keep, doing what we're doing, which is winning. For UCF, we gotta use our size to our advantage and build the base. That at the end of the day is going to be our race in the hole, and we've got to convert this large alumni base into a donor base that's going to allow us to continue to compete at the highest level.
Now, a big vote coming up in August, I guess. Is that when the NCAA board meets and votes on whether the Power Five gets more autonomy?
Yeah, I mean, basically the autonomy vote's going to take place in August. We're pretty sure that there is going to be some autonomy in what the Power Five or the Equity Five or whatever you want to call whatever they want to call themselves, or for the American Athletic Conference, it's important that we continue to have a seat at the table, that we continue to compete. Obviously, when we were sitting here a year ago, we were going into a brand new conference that nobody knew what was going to happen, and we come away with our BCS win, and UConn, of course, wins 2 national championships in both basketball. So we feel really good about our conference, and we just got to, keep winning and keep playing those other 5 conferences to show that we belong in that lineup.
Okay, great season last season, obviously. 12-1, BCS Bowl victory. You dismantled Baylor in the Fiesta Bowl. UCF fans now have tasted that success. What are you going to do for an encore, Mr. Stansbury?
Well, that's where it all. That's the encore is always the hardest part of one of these types of. When you've had a season like this, but the great thing is we got a great team returning and a great schedule, and so we've got to, that's why they play the games, and we're going to start it up against Penn State over in Dublin.
Let's hear it for UCF Athletic Director Todd Stansbury and UCF Coach George O'Leary for winning the Mikey for State Coach of the Year. Coming up next, beware Shot Doctor on the microphone to hand out the Buffoonery Award. Up next, open mic, 7:40 The Game, Orlando Sports Leader.
On the radio, stereo, time. I'm so glad you had a one-track mind like me. You gave my life direction, a game show host connection. It can't deny. I'm so upset. My heart is bound to beat right out my untrimmed chest. I believe in you like a virgin, you're Madonna, and I'm always gonna wanna blow your mind. Hey, soul sister, and that mister on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Where you can't cut a rug, loving you's the only drug I need. So fancy, I'm so thug, you're the only one I'm dreaming of. See, I can be myself now finally. There ain't nothing I can be. Be the world to be with me, with me. Hey, soul sister, and that mister on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Hey, soul sister, and that mister on the radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, you know. Hey, soul sister, I don't wanna miss a single thing you do tonight. Tonight. Hey, 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 tonight. Hey, 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 tonight. Today is gonna be the day that they're bringing on back to you. By now you should have realized, but you know what you're gonna do. 'Cause I don't believe in anybody feels the way I do about you now.
That's unbelievable. What is it now?
Backbeat, the word is on the street and the fire in your heart is out. By now you should have realized, but you know what it's all about. 'Cause I don't believe in anybody feels the way I do about you now.
Put your food up here now.
And all the roads that lead us, they're winding. And all the lights that guide us, they're blinding. And there's so many questions, and I like to say to you, but I don't know how. So maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. Today is gonna be the day that they bring it on back to you. By now you should have realized, but you know what you're gonna do. 'Cause I don't believe in anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads that lead us, they're winding. And all the lights that guide us, they're blinding. And there's so many questions that I like to say to you, but I don't know how. So maybe I'm gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. So maybe I'm gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall. so maybe I'm gonna be the one that saves me.
Welcome back to the 4th annual Mikey's House Band jamming the joint now. In fact, Diddy, you may be hearing the Bianconator, the Bulldog, singing a little song with the house band maybe later in the show.
Is it going to be similar to what happened 1 year ago?
It may. Well, it's the only song I sing.
It's a song from one of my hometowns, right?
Yes, from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Yeah, the Marshall Tucker Band. Yeah, I may be singing that song. Maybe next segment if you want to hang around and hear the Bianconator sing. Welcome back to the 4th annual Mikey's. As you can see, we are live in the Performance Arts Theater here at the Clear Channel Castle, and we've got the Shot Doctor up here eating. The Shot Doctor.
Smacking away.
My God, this food is good.
Rub it in.
Shot Doctor, I told the people from Shula's to limit you to 1 helping of food.
Well, you were close, Mike. I'm on my 8th, so you're only 7 plates off.
Every year, Shot Doctor.
If anybody else up there wants shrimp, you better hurry up because I'm going up there again in about 10 minutes.
Every year, we work during the show. The house band plays during the show. And when we go to get food after the show, there's nothing left for us because of you, Shot.
Thank you very much. And I got the memo before the show to limit my food. But guess what? It's been limited to 10 plates, and I'm not even done yet. Nobody stops me. Nobody stops me when it comes to food.
All right, anybody who listens to the Shot Doctor host of Sports Rex every weekday afternoon, right here on 740 The Game, knows that his favorite catchword is buffoonery. Now, he uses the term in a bunch of different contexts throughout his show. Shot Doctor, in general, give us the definition of buffoonery.
The severe act of a clown.
The severe.
It's a clown act, but it's done severely. The severe act of a clown is what constitutes sheer and utter buffoonery with a capital B.
Okay, so that's buffoonery, a clown act, a severe clown act.
Yeah, severe act of a clown.
Now, a lot of people say that you're a clown, Shot Doctor. Is that why you've come up with
I am not a clown. I am a mental genius.
God. He's a special member of the 740 The Game family. There's no question about that.
I am also a man that cannot and will not be stopped. Period. I already proved that today.
All right, let's get to our next award. Do we have a sounder for this one? No?
The Buffoonery Award, presented by the Shot Doctor.
All right, Shot Doctor.
Great music right there.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right, who are the nominees, Shot?
Okay, nominees are for the Shot Doctor Buffoonery Award would be, let me turn the page, I have an official page for you guys. Let's see, we have Lake owner Jim Butts for giving Kobe Bryant a guaranteed $49 million for the next 2 years.
Yeah, that wasn't a smart move.
Nope.
Number 2, the owners of the Bucks for the clumsy hiring of new head coach Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Florida Gators for losing to Georgia Southern.
That's not buffoonery.
That's worse than buffoonery.
Huh? That's not a clown act.
That's worse than a clown act. That's ultra buffoonery. And number 4, Jameis Winston stealing crab legs at Publix on camera.
Uh-oh, we've got a...
I think we have a house favorite already.
That right there is buffoonery. Jameis Winston. That's got to be number 1, don't you think?
Well, I don't know.
It's your award.
And the winner is... Shot?
Jameis Winston stealing crab legs at Publix.
Oh, yeah.
How is he not the winner? That's got to be it.
Oh, there it is. Right
Is that him back there?
We've got the surveillance video right there.
That's buffoonery. He even did it on camera. That makes it buffoonery. Look at that.
Oh, my God.
That is the definition, Michael, of buffoonery right there. There you have it.
Seriously, Jameis Winston, Shot Doctor, take off your clown hat for a minute.
I am not a clown, first of all. I want that known. I am not a clown.
Okay, but
I am serious.
Okay,
Continue
but
on, please.
that was buffoonery. But on a serious note, Jameis Winston, obviously a great athlete, leads Florida State to the national title last year. But his image has really taken a hit, Shot Doctor.
It has, but once football season starts and he stays clean and they keep winning again, he'll be fine. This is workable. He can get through this as long as he plays the same level this year as last year and they win, he'll be fine. But until college football season starts, which, by the way, is soon,
Thank God.
this is the image right there.
I got to tell you, though, Shot Doctor, as a Heisman voter, I think even though, stealing crab legs isn't like shooting the president, as Peter Warwick once said, okay, it's still, people are looking for excuses not to vote for Jameis Winston.
Yeah, but Mike, if Florida State wins again this year, which is an if, and he plays at a high level again, he's the quarterback of a championship team, he's in the driver's seat. We will get past this. Now, if they lose and he has a bad season, it's a difference that magnifies that. But if they win and he plays well, he'll be fine.
I'm going to defend Jameis Winston here for a minute and say that
it's okay to steal crab legs?
No. Obviously not okay to steal crab legs, but I think the 4-8 of the Florida Gators and losing to Georgia Southern, what was the one play during the Georgia? Was that the play where they ran into each other? Remember that one?
Yes.
Blocking each other.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they were blocking each other.
I forgot about that.
You want to talk about buffoonery,
How did I
Shot.
miss? I should have got that one on there. I got the game on there, but that play specifically would have been good. I agree.
4-8 and losing to Georgia Southern, that had to be a close second.
That was a close second. And and that was in Gainesville, too. No excuses there. But Jameis Winston is a runaway winner because we have it on tape. That puts him in first place in this buffoonery award, Michael.
But, Shot Doctor, he said...
He said what?
He said he meant to pay for the crab legs. He just forgot. He walked out without paying.
Mike, I go to Publix every damn day, and I'm 60 years old. I don't forget to pay. He's 21 or 20. I'm 60, and I pay every single time. What buffoonery is this? He forgot to pay? He's 20 years old. No excuses. That's even worse.
Okay. All right. Shot Doctor, last thing.
Can we talk about Shula's food again?
No, we can't talk.
Why?
Would
you like some shrimp?
Actually, give us what's up there.
We have shrimp, waffles, chicken, and more. It is sensational. And in 2 minutes, I'm going to have even more. Would you like some of this, by the way?
No, I don't want any of your food. I don't want your leftover. What's the best? What do you like the best?
Put it to you this way. Shula's is known for steaks, which are amazing. The shrimp was like having steak, if you know what I'm trying to say. It was that damn good. Wow. Incredible.
Wow.
Incredible with a capital E.
You want to know what else is incredible? Our next award, a very, very, very important award. Lifetime Achievement Award next. Open mic, 7:40 The Game. Orlando sports leader. The Mikeys rolls on with the house band.
Try to figure out. It's been a long, long time. Now let's turn about. Maybe 'cause I'm trying. There's been times so confused on my road lead to you. Just can't turn and walk away. Hard to say what it is I see and wonder if I'll always be with you. Words can't say and I can do. Bring us back to this break while I'm singing. It's all for you. I thought I'd seen it all. Been a long, long time. Now I'll trip and fall. Maybe 'cause I'm blind, yeah. There's been times so confused on my road leading to you. Just can't turn and walk away. Hard to say what it is I see in you. Wonder if I'll always be with you. Words can't say and I can do enough to prove it's all for you. Rain come pouring down, falling from blue skies. Words without a sound, falling from your eyes. thought I'd seen it all. Been a long, long time. Now I like tripping far. Maybe 'cause you're there. Hard to say what it is I see in you. Wonder if I'll always be with you. Words can't say and I can't do enough to prove it's all for you. Hard to say what it is I see in you. Wonder if I'll always be with you. Words can't say and I can't do enough to prove it's all for you. All for you. All for you.
Hey, Simon? Simon. Hey, my bass drum is booming.
do it.
My bass drum is booming out of my monitor 4. Just let you know, it's not bothering me unless he's out there.
Mikey Bianchi on the mic.
The man of the hour up here. I'm gonna take a freight train down at the station. I don't care where it goes. I'm on a mountain, highest mountain, Lord. Jump off, nobody gonna know.
Everybody.
Can't you say? Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me? Can't you say? Can't you say what those wing house girls have been doing to me? Take it, Michael. Climb me a mountain, highest mountain low. Jump off, nobody gonna know. Find me a hole in the wall. I'm gonna crawl inside and down. Everybody now. Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me? Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me? Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me? What's she doing, Jeffrey? Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me? Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me? Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me?
Still got 30 seconds.
Mike Bianchi on that.
Can't you say now what that woman, she been doing to me? Can't you say what that woman, she been doing to me? Can't you say
Welcome back to the Mikeys. Diddy, they missed it. They missed me up on stage.
We had a little bit too long of a break to catch you singing here.
How bad was I?
Toy Caldwell probably rolling over in his grave.
Yeah.
So, let's be real about it.
I was just singing with the house band, can't you see? Let's hear it for the house band.
Yeah.
And Mike Bianchi on vocals. Let's hear it for Mike Bianchi on vocals.
Oh, we got a
What,
boo. We got a boo.
Booze? Oh, my God. Wow. Welcome back to the 4th Annual Mikeys. Orlando is becoming more and more of a sports town. It started with us being a college football town many, many years ago. Then we became an NBA city, and now we're an international destination for soccer, for crying out loud. Well, there have been a lot of people who are responsible for the growth of sports in this town, which is why we came up with the idea of the Lifetime Achievement Award. Without our next guest, there wouldn't be a Mikey's Award because Mikey wouldn't be here because Orlando wouldn't be a big-time sports town. And everybody knows Mikey only covers big-time sports, okay? Nearly 3 decades ago, our next guest had this silly idea that Orlando, a college football cow town, could become an NBA city. He sold the idea to Pat Williams. He got investors together, and he convinced a young NBA commissioner, a man by the name of David Stern. He convinced him that Orlando would be a prime spot for NBA expansion. That brings us to our next award.
Open Mic Lifetime Achievement Award.
Our Mikey for Lifetime Achievement goes to an Orlando dreamer and an Orlando doer, the great Jimmy Hewitt, a man who believed in magic. Let's give Jimmy a standing ovation. There he is, the founder of the Orlando Magic, Jimmy Hewitt. Jimmy, congratulations on this award. You deserve it, my man.
Well, Mike, you're so kind. And, you know, for these last almost 30 years, I've been so overblessed with this award. And this is one of the, I'll tell you, this is one of the most fantastic ones I've ever gotten.
Thank you, Jimmy.
And I mean that from the heart.
Thank you, Jimmy.
That's right from the heart. And I just could praise people forever. Of course, I start with the Lord. I love him with all my heart. But, you know, it's been a tremendous, tremendous time in these 25 years. I got to take this off pretty soon. We're about to go to 26. Okay. But anyway, everything that's been done for this community, and I get more credit than I'll ever deserve, and I want you to know that. I was blessed to love it, knew we had football, and we had, we had football, and we had the chance for some baseball, but it went by.
Jimmy, why did you think the NBA could work in Orlando 30 years ago?
Well, I knew that so many people had retired and come down to Central Florida that were basketball fans. You know, I was mainly football.
You were a big Florida State guy.
I was a big Seminole.
Yeah. Still are, right?
Still am.
Yeah.
And I'll pull for the Gators, too. You know, my brother, Bob, was a great Gator. But I did. I went to Florida State. I got very close with Bobby Bowden and all. And I've enjoyed that. But when it came the opportunity, and I met Pat, and knew that Pat was the best in the NBA in terms of general and all of that for 20 years, I talked to Pat and said, Pat, you know, if we're going to go forward with this, you got to leave Philadelphia. They just won the championship the year before in 1988. And I said, Pat, you got to come. I'll pay you your salary for the 2 to 3 years that it takes. And if we don't get a team, you can go right back in the NBA again. Okay, don't worry about it. Everybody would want to have you.
Now, Jimmy, what was the story, though? Okay, Pat Williams came down for some sort of convention.
Right.
He came down for a convention, and you'd met him a year or so earlier, and you were driving him to the airport, right? To fly back.
And 1984.
Mm-hmm. And what happened there?
Well, we just hit it off well together and became very good friends, and we spoke off and on the phone and everything. And I just told him, I said, Pat, if you're ever thinking about an NBA in Florida, you need to look at it here. And he said, well, Jim, I'm going to come down at some point in time, and we're going to have, we're going to bring down a player. We're going to bring down one of the best coaches in the NBA because we're coming into Florida in time. I said.
Well, they were talking about Miami and Jackson. What were they? Miami and Tampa, right?
Yeah, they were talking about Miami and Tampa and Jacksonville. So when he got here and we went out to the deal that he was putting on and all, and we're coming back to the airport, he said, well, Jimmy, we're thinking about 3 to 4 teams in 88, 89. And he said, what do you think, Jacksonville, Tampa, or Miami? And I said, no. Pat, you think about Orlando.
Yeah.
And he said, well, Jimmy, you don't even have an arena. Yeah, but we're building one in 1991. It's done. Well, it has to be 88, 89. I said, well, we've got the most progressive mayor in the city, and Bill Frederick, and our county chairman, Tom Dorman, a basketball referee, and all. And I said, I just believe we can get it done. I said, if we do, you're going to come. And he said, well, Jimmy, my gosh, I'm in Philadelphia. I said, yeah, but you've got to leave. You're an ambitious person, Pat. You know the NBA inside out. I'm not going to do it without you. We'll move forward.
How much did you pay him, Jimmy? Come on. Huh? How much did you pay him?
It was a little bit. But anyway, he earned every penny of it, and we worked it out. And he said, well, you let me know if you can get the arena built. And the next day, talking about soccer, the next day, I'm going to pick up my son Ben at Lake Highland from soccer practice. And I put down to get Bill Frederick. And here's Bill Frederick in his car right in front of me picking up his son John. So I walked up to his car, Lord bless him again, and said, Bill, you just got to go with this with me. And I told him about Pat. We were in the parking lot. And he said, Jimmy, I don't know the NBA. I've been more football too. He said, let me tell you this. You get what you need and you get who you want, and we'll get it built in 88, 89.
So a meeting in the parking lot with the mayor of Orlando expedited the arena being built, which got the magic here.
Yeah, and I called Pat, and I said, Pat, it's done. We can build it in 88, 89.
Pat was probably thinking, he'll never get this done. He'll forget about it.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
Jimmy Hewitt does not forget, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up for Jimmy Hewitt, the man, the founder of the Orlando Magic. Without Jimmy Hewitt, there would not be big-time sports in this community. Jimmy Hewitt, congratulations on the Lifetime Achievement Award.
You're the best, Bubba.
That'll be the most prestigious award you win throughout your life, Jimmy.
The best I've ever gotten. I love all of you.
Jimmy Hewitt.
Thanks to all of you all. It would have never been done without all of you too, okay? I was just blessed with it.
There you have it, Jimmy Hewitt. All right, our next award. Yeah. Our next award.
Appreciate it following the shot doctor.
Yeah. Our next award. In 30 years, this man may be winning the Lifetime Achievement Award in Orlando. That next, open mic, 740 The Game, Orlando sports leader.
Down around the corner, have a mouth and beer. See them old trains run, watch them disappear. But I love, where would you be now?
From the David Wells Volkswagen Traffic Center, still have a little heavy traffic westbound on I-4 between 436 and Maitland Boulevard. Eastbound still slows down near the 408 They moved an accident on John Young Parkway at Village Center Drive all out of the roadway. An accident on Holden Avenue west of Orange Avenue at Foresthill Drive is all off to the side. There's Wrecking Lane on Pinto Way at Pine Hills Road, and an accident on Crystal Lake Drive north of Michigan Street at Jersey Avenue. When you see traffic problems, call the Safety and Security Tip Line.
Moving down is Lucy. We'll go round and round. Steel wheels are cold and hard. Hard never fail without love. Where would you be now without love? Steel wheels keep turning, wheels go round and round. Steel wheels come cold and hot, hot and they will fail without love. Where would you be now without love? Without love. Without love, where would you be now? Got to get you, baby. Got to move me now. Want you move me now? Want you move me now? Baby, 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 want you move me now? Want you move me now? Want you move me now? Got to get you, got to move me now. Want you move me now? Want you move me now? Want you move me now? Without love, without love, without love. Where would you be now? Wake up, Maggie. I think that there's something to say to you. Late September and I really should be back at school. I know I'm feeling used when I feel I'm being used. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. Left me away from home. Didn't want to be alone. Broke my soul. Couldn't leave you if I tried. The morning sun, when it's in your face, really shows your edge. That don't worry me none. In my eyes, you're everything. I laughed at all of your jokes. My love, you didn't need the coax. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. Where you left me away from home. You didn't want to be alone. Stole my soul, and that's a pain I can do without. Come on, Uncle Mike. suppose I should collect my books, get on back to school. Steal my daddy's cue, beg a living out of playing pool. But find myself a rock and roll
annual
band, like the Down Brothers.
Mikey's house band rocking the joint with a little Maggie May.
I wish that I'd never seen your face.
That was the roof for a minute. I came back. I thought it was actually Rod Stewart in it.
Oh, yeah. He can sing some Rod
Killer.
Stewart.
Wow.
He actually knows Rod Stewart. I think
Really?
he played with Rod Stewart at one point. Right, Jeffrey? You know Rod Stewart, right?
I used to.
Yeah. Used to.
Were you a stand-in? You had me fooled.
When Rod would lose his voice, he would bring Jeffrey in
Call
to
the
sing
backup.
for him. Yeah. Jeffrey was in the background. Rod was just mouthing the words Milli Vanilli style.
The Mariano Rivera of rock and roll.
Yeah. All right, welcome back to the 4th Annual Mikey's presented by Advance Auto Parts. Our last award winner, Jimmy Hewitt, impacted sports in Orlando 30 years ago, or nearly 30 years ago. Our next guest, he may be winning the Lifetime Achievement Award in another 30 years, all right? The next award goes to a person who has affected sports in Orlando the most in the last year. A mover, a shaker, a doer, a dreamer like Jimmy Hewitt was all those years ago. And that brings us to our next award.
Open Mic Central Florida Sports Impact Person of the Year.
Diddy, we have the nominations.
Yes, there are nominations for the Sports Impact Person of the Year this year. They start with, we kind of changed this one a little bit last second. It was originally just the defending champ, Mayor Buddy Dyer, but we had the mayors combined, as Mayor Buddy Dyer and Mayor Teresa Jacobs have combined on the effort to impact the sports world of Central Florida to an unbelievable extent this year. Following them in the nominations category, Steve Hogan of Central Florida Sports. Obviously, the Citrus Bowl revamp going on right now. The bowl games being hosted over there, including a USL Pro Championship game that was held over there just last season. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Arnold Palmer of the Bay Hill Invitational.
He could win it every year.
He could win it all the time, every year, for what he does for Orlando and the Central Florida area. And lastly, Orlando City Soccer President Phil Rollins.
And the winner of the most impactful Central Floridian of the year is a no-brainer, Phil Rollins, Orlando City Soccer Club president and owner. There it is, the Orlando City song. Okay, Phil Rollins, I believe, is in Brazil right now at the World Cup. He wasn't here to accept this prestigious award, although Mayor Buddy Dyer did pass the torch to Phil Rollins earlier this week. Here's Mayor Buddy Dyer. We now welcome in the man who's going to pass the torch to Phil Rollins. He is the one and only mayor of the city of Orlando. Everybody knows Buddy Dyer, the man who won the Mikey Impact Award last year. Mayor, you must feel like the former Masters winner putting the green jacket on the current Masters winner.
The biggest honor I think I've ever received, to receive the Mikey Impact Player of the Year award. So I think it's a very deserving individual, though, that I'm able to pass the torch on to. Phil Rollins certainly deserves it. The guy that was the spearhead to bring the second Major League sports team to Orlando, certainly well-deserving.
That was Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer. We now welcome in a Mikey Award winner in his own right, Orlando Sentinel, former UCF beat writer, now Orlando Sentinel, Orlando City soccer writer, Paul Tenorio, who earlier today won the Mikey for Best Local Correspondent. He's holding his trophy up right now. He's very proud of that award, aren't you, Paul?
Back-to-back years, I'm honored.
Yeah, that's right.
How many back-to-back winners are there
Well,
this year?
Notepad Rick is the
Notepad
only other back-to-back award
Elite
winner.
company, my friend.
Yeah, yeah. If you win it next year, you will have won 3 or 4, just like Notepad Rick now.
That's got to be the goal.
All right, let's not talk about you because you're not that important, okay?
No, I feel like weird. All these really important people have been brought up here, and now I'm sitting here.
Okay, let's talk about Phil Rollins and the impact he's had on the city of Orlando. Now, Paul, you grew up a soccer fan. You grew up a soccer player. When this process first started, did you think Orlando and Phil Rollins would end up with an MLS team?
No, I mean, I don't think that you could have imagined that the league would be where it is right now. I mean, I remember in 1996 watching the first championship game in a friend's basement when DC United won, and it was a league that was much smaller, and there were 2 teams in Florida already, and you never would have expected that Orlando would get another team, and yet, here we are listening to stories about how the Magic ended up here, and it was similar. It was somebody's dream to bring a team here, and now it's a reality, and it happened in a flash, didn't it? I mean, it felt like just a year and a half, 2 years, it got fast-forwarded, and it was all Phil Rollins' vision and the way he pushed things.
I want to talk about that because usually it takes, a decade to get something done in this city when you have the city and county having to negotiate who's going to spend what money on what. And Phil Rollins somehow came in here, and he obviously got Mayor Buddy Dyer on board. Of course, it's easy to get Buddy Dyer on board when it comes to sports. He'll build anything, anytime. But he also got Mayor Teresa Jacobs on board in the county commission. What did Phil Rollins do to sort of bring everybody together for this one vision?
I think the most important thing he did was he got the people behind it. To watch the way that the club approached the people of Orlando, sought them for their support and for their voices to go to Buddy Dyer, to go to Teresa Jacobs and say, this is what we want. And it happened forcefully. I mean, there were so many petitions. There were so many fans on social media. There were fans showing up at council meetings and fans showing up at watch parties. And it became to the point where the noise was so loud of we want a team here, we want a stadium, that it was inevitable that it was going to happen. I think the way that Phil Rollins approached bringing a team here was brilliant in that he realized if you have the support of the city, then everything else will fall into place, and that's what ended up happening.
Now, obviously, when you look at the TV ratings for the World Cup, Orlando among the highest TV markets as far as viewing of the World Cup. Why do you think Orlando, I'm not going to say suddenly has become soccer crazy, but why has Orlando become a soccer town?
I think there's just excitement over the idea of bringing a second sports team here, pro team here. And I think the fact that Orlando City has been so successful in its early years, obviously winning 2 USL Pro Championships and now being undefeated, that all added into the excitement. And then the fact that MLS is a growing league and everyone gets caught up in the World Cup hype. I think Orlando just kind of came along with the rest of the country. And now to be the 7th, I think it's the 7th highest market in the country through 60-odd World Cup games, it shows that it's a city that's ready to embrace the sport full time, and that's going to happen soon. I think it's going to be really exciting to see what kind of fan support shows up in the first year, and then when they open that new stadium, 19,500 people packed into a stadium on Church Street. I mean, it's going to be pretty neat to see. I think Orlando's proving it wants to be a soccer town.
Paul Tenorio, Orlando City soccer beat writer for the Orlando Sentinel. Paul, real quick, there was some news with the Orlando City. You talk about the rabid support. Sometimes it gets a little too rabid. Phil Rollins, in fact, has had to institute a code of conduct for fans. Some fans arrested over in Tampa the other day. Talk about what Orlando City fans need to do to sort of calm down.
Well, they need to grow up. I think that the biggest issue that there are a select number of fans that are part of the supporters group that have looked at their role to be a little bit more than it should be. I think those supporters groups are great for soccer. They're what makes soccer viewing unique. When you go to a stadium, the singing and the dancing and the jumping up and down and the flags waving and the smoke bombs, that's very unique. But that's what it should be. It shouldn't be about going into other supporters groups and trying to cause problems or to be more aggressive than other fans. Just enjoy the game, support your team, and come up with some creative songs that leave out curse words and have a good time. And if they can start to do that, like every other supporters group around MLS, then I think they'll be just fine. And if they want to keep acting like hooligans a little bit and living out fantasies that they saw in Green Street Hooligans, the movie, then they're not going to be allowed into the games. It's that simple. So I think it was the right action by Orlando City to squash this out before they got to MLS and to wake those fans up and realize that they're not untouchable and that they need to clean things up.
Paul Tenorio, Mikey Award winner, with us today. Paul, we appreciate it. Congratulations on your Mikey, and thanks for coming up and talking about Phil Rollins with us.
Thanks, guys.
Paul Tenorio. We're going to bring this show to a close. Again, we want to thank everybody. We want to thank the house band for being here this morning. They don't have to get up this early. Jeff Wilson, of course, the leader of the Down Brothers, Jen Wilson, Rob Hirsch, Rob Costello, the newest member, Mike Brinson, on lead guitar. Finally, good to have somebody besides Jeffrey playing guitar. Rob, did you play your ukulele today? Yeah. Rob played his ukulele, talking about Rob Hirsch. So we thank the house band. Also, thanks to our sponsors, the presenting sponsor, Advance Auto Parts. Thank you to our other sponsors, regular sponsors, Kerr's Wing House, the Me Law Firm, Headquarter Hyundai, Caddyshanks, Metafast, my newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel. Also, thank you to Shula's 347 for providing us tremendous, tremendous food. Hopefully the Shot Doctor has left some for us. Guys, can you guys play the open mic theme song going out? Live version of the open mic theme song right here as the Mikey Awards comes to a close. Thanks to everybody for coming. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Here we go.
Mike, 740 the game. Open Mike and guts and dreams. Open Mike, the best you've ever seen. But hear my back and scream. Open mic, 740 the game. Open mic and guts and dreams. Open mic, the best you've ever seen. And you might make it scream. Open mic, open mic, open mic, open mic. Thank you.
Thank you.